Can y'all hear us? Anyone there?
It's just stuck on going live. And now it says we're live.
It says we're live. I think we're okay.
Okay.
Is it your iPad?
It might be my iPad.
Yeah?
I just noticed. Oh, no. Now it's actually updated.
All right, cool.
Okay, so I need to know, chat, whether we were actually live for the last 10 minutes or not.
Just minor heart attack.
We are now. So it wasn't working.
We weren't live at all?
So I pressed go live, literally spot on the dot at 12:30. I just noticed people in chat going, they're late. I'm like, hang on a minute. What the hell's going on here?
That's so strange. But did you change anything?
No. I pressed go live.
Yeah.
I minimised the window. I came and sat down.
I saw you do it.
Yeah. And then I've just put the window back up and YouTube's gone, oh, now you're live. It took 11 minutes for YouTube to go live for us.
That's so wild.
Do you want to go back to main screen? We had a nice intro.
It was so good. We had a little talk.
Really good. We had a little talk.
We actually, I think we solved 10th edition in those 10 minutes that y'all were not with us.
Yeah, we've done it.
It was great.
Thanks for watching.
This is a rough day for us, isn't it?
I mean, this is what happens for Titan. Okay, should we start right from the beginning, Adrian? Remember everything we said?
Yeah, bye-bye. No?
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I'm so sorry. That's the weirdest thing. Anyways, yeah, let's take it from the top.
Right, we'll take it from the top. That was a good discussion we had.
It was a great discussion. We can do it again. Let's roll it back. So today, talking about all factions.
Yeah, right. We'll go right from the start. So welcome to the stream. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. To be clear, this wasn't supposed to be what we were doing today. We've had to change it last minute. We've had a crazy busy weekend, right? We did 7 games of 40k plus 6 good talks over the course of the weekend. We streamed for around 27 hours from the studio. There was a ton of work that went in behind the scenes. There was a load of work that went in on camera. People were moving, like Adrian and I were busy this weekend.
It was wild. There was no downtime at all.
Thumbnailing and scheduling streams and prepping lists and making graphics and moving things around, and it was absolute chaos.
Yeah.
And so we originally intended to do a game today. Wires got crossed. Communications perhaps weren't as clear as maybe they could have been. We don't have a producer. And like the joke I made before was that we're not Hellstorm.
I was like, I have to get razzed again. That's good. But so does Mikey, so this is good.
We're not Hellstorm, so we won't go out with no producer. We were trying to figure out whether we could do it without a producer. Bridget says it's possible. We don't know how. I didn't want to.
You don't want to put out a bad show.
I don't want to put out a bad show.
Right. So rather than do that, again, the joke that I made was that you were afraid of my Harlequins.
Yeah.
Still funny second time. We will play later on this week. We'll figure out what the matchup is. Yeah. And in the meantime, what we want to do is we want to talk about every single faction in the game. We go through it. Now that the indexes are out, you've had a chance to see it. We have had a chance to see and play it a bunch of times and kind of get our opinions on it. This isn't a ranking video.
No.
But we are going to give our thoughts on them.
If you want to see rankings, especially from I did this part already. This is weird. This is like deja vu. If you want to see rankings, you can check out a stream that Art of War did yesterday. That I was watching yesterday morning here in the US. It would have been afternoon, evening time in the UK. If you check out Art of War, they actually ranked every faction now. All the information is out for 10th edition. Yeah. Okay. So now that you've got all of the indexes and the points, they sat down. It was Nick Nanavati and Rich Siegler, and they both sat down and they went through every single faction. Super interesting. Got to say, I pretty much agreed with 95% of what they put out there. And even though I perhaps disagreed with 5%, they know the game much better than I do, and they play the game at a much higher level than I do, so they're probably right. So if you do want to see a ranking system, and like they have no idea I'm giving them a shout out here or whatsoever, but if you do want to see a ranking system, head on over, check out that Art of War video, tag me, tell them that you came from us, and they said, hey, Liam sent us to watch this, but do watch it. It is an interesting video, and it puts them all from S tier down to what on earth were you thinking about GW. We'll probably touch on some of that today, actually, anyway, because we have our own thoughts, which are similar to what the guys at Art of War have said, so we'll cover that off. Now, if you're new here, if you haven't watched our streams before, if you're joining us for the first time, especially from Titans, please make sure you smash all the magical YouTube buttons for us to hit like if you enjoy the content. It actually helps us. Likes really help the channel's algorithm, and it helps the video algorithm, and it pushes it to more people. So we're really grateful. I know it seems like it's a nothing thing, and it's kind of like it looks like it's an ego boost, but it actually really helps.
Yeah.
And if you're fresh over from Titans, I'm trying to challenge, because he's now twice let me down today, right?
I did nothing. You went live.
It's your system.
You went live. I was like,
your system that broke, right?
Yeah.
Good job I found it. We'd have been literally talking for 2 hours and been like, no super chats, no members, no one cares.
You know, I mean, this has happened to me. I'm sure it's happened to you before. You do like a whole recording session, and then there's like no audio. And
I've had that. It's crushing.
And your energy just goes
crushing. So if you are fresh over from Titans, please make sure you smash that magical subscribe button. The challenge I have set, Adrian, is to see if we can hit 25k by the end of the week which is a hell of a challenge.
It's a big challenge.
Because it's 2,000 people to go.
I think we can get it. Let's do it.
We hit 23K today.
Yeah.
2,000 people to go.
No problem.
Okay.
No problem.
It's an incredible way to support us. We're really grateful, so thank you so much. Of course, talking and supporting us, there's many other ways you can support us. You can super chat. I will tell you all now, as from this last Friday, I've turned Amy off in here.
Yeah.
This is going to be a long stream anyway, especially if we don't even stream the first 10 minutes. It's going to be a longer stream, so I really don't need her interrupting us constantly throughout the day. And some people said it was quite bad. You guys were incredible on Friday with your super chats. It was amazing. It was incredibly generous. I was so grateful. But it was also a lot. So we're going to not have her interrupting us, but I do have my magical iPad in front of me, which is how I can tell we aren't live. So I will be able to see it when you people do donations, etc. So I'm really grateful. Another great way of supporting us on the channel, you'll probably notice if you're not a member, you can't talk right now. You can bypass that with a super chat if you want to super chat and not become a member. What you can do is you can become a member. There's loads of different tiers. Exclamation mark member in chat. It'll give you all the different tiers. Pick which one's for you. We do anything from Discord access all the way up through to WhatsApp chats and tickets to events for members and stuff like that as well. And of course, if you've got nothing that you want to say, but you want to give more, you can just gift memberships as well, and that is an amazing way of supporting us, and we're super grateful for all the gifters out there, both us and Titans. Okay, if you haven't checked out, if you are watching in our audience and you haven't checked out Titans before, you can just click the @Tabletop Titans thing, I think, in the description or in the video title, and it'll take you across to their channel. Check out what happened on Saturday and Sunday, where we, like I said, streamed for 27 hours, I think, roughly, out to YouTube. The guys here are incredible. I've been very open about saying that the reasons why we started doing live battle reports on the channel was because of Titans, or watch what they're doing and said, hey, I think that looks super fun, I want to do the same thing. So the fact that we've got this really cool relationship now,
right, it's great.
Titans is like our channel, apart from slightly higher production value, a nice big studio and no swear words. And when I say higher production value, at least we go live mostly on time.
Well, we at least know how to press the go live button. So,
wow. Don't put that back on me. Hey, if we had a producer, I wouldn't have had to do it. I'm just saying.
It's a rough time here.
The guys at Titans are amazing.
Thank you.
So before we jump into it, as Adrian was saying, what we're going to do is we're going to go into every single faction. We're going to kind of look at the detachment rule, look at the army rule, talk about it from a narrative perspective, talk about it from a strength perspective. We'll skim through stratagems and stuff like that, and we'll skim through some key units. But we're not going to go through every single unit, because I mean, if you look at the Space Marine Index with 7,342 different data sheets, we would be here forever.
Yep.
And we do have an end stop, because there is another stream this evening. And if you want to watch me actually play a game, because they did bother to get a producer, then at 6 p.m. Pacific time, or it's 2 a.m. in the UK, but it will be available on demand. We go live to Titans channel. For members only, though.
It's members tonight. So if you're not a member, why aren't you? You should join us. It'd be a great time. We have a lot of amazing content, and it's a great community, just like your community. It'd be awesome to see you and cross-pollinate some more.
There's tons of amazing content on there, and I'm playing Bridger.
Oh,
Bridger, and he's bringing Chaos Knights.
Yeah, I'm jealous.
And I'm going to be bringing a Shadow Sword.
Oh, don't tell him.
Yeah. Brian said you guys haven't showcased a super heavy guard tank on the channel yet since 10th edition.
No, we haven't. We were like, John, you got to bring it. And he's like, nah, I'm going to bring all these other tanks, which was cool, but not as cool as a single Shadow Sword. It's awesome.
It's going to be cool.
So it's going to be fun. Tune in tonight, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard for that.
Tim says that Liam is never late. He arrives exactly when he's supposed to. Right, so before we jump into Tau, very, very quick. This is part of the reason why I kind of get, this sounds like a first world problems. This is kind of how I knew we weren't live, right?
Yeah.
Because look at all this now kicking off.
Oh,
which just wasn't here beforehand, and I was like, no one gives a shit about this. This was a bad idea. No one cares about this content.
Cares.
So Zena, thank you for the gifted 5. You are an absolute hero. I love you. Thank you so much. People, I'm sure there's a ton of sarcastic comments about how shit we are. Thank you so much. We love you too. Martin Utenterven didn't know this was going on. Did you rant, Liam? No, we didn't rant. We're not ranting yet. We might rant a bit later. Chaotic Failure, thank you for the gifted 5. That's 10 so far. You guys are amazing. I love you. Robert Saxon, Niaz, thank you so much for joining the channel at Hasir. Carlos comes in at Jarl, so we will be setting up Gaz. I don't know if you're in chat right now. Gaz is in chat right now. Can you set up the Jarls only giveaway for me, pretty please? That will go live in Discord. In the council area of Discord, which Jarls have access to and the peasants don't, if you go into that area, there's a giveaway section, and it'll just a little enter button. Once you've connected your YouTube account to a Discord account so it knows what level you are, it'll let you enter. You click enter, and at the end of the month at some point, actually we should probably draw it on Friday.
Yeah.
Gaz, can we draw it on Friday during 40k After Dark? It will draw a winner of this particular giveaway. You win a combat patrol box of your choice, and I will ship it to you directly.
That's amazing. Which
out of my own pocket, by the way.
The rules just came out for today, so.
Grizzly, did they? Is that today?
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I thought it was tomorrow.
No, that's on Warhammer Community.
Grizzly Baron, thank you for gifting 5 memberships. You're a hero. Biblical Nipple, thank you for gifting 10. What a legend.
Great name.
Chris says, did you hoover that damn floor yet? No, he means vacuum, by the way.
Yeah.
Also, great content from you all. Thanks, Titan, for the fantastic streams.
Appreciate it.
This weekend was incredibly hard.
It was so much. It was definitely the hardest streams we've ever done because it was just so much back to back to back. We were running around every game.
2 days, 2 nights in a row. We were in bed past midnight. This is genuine as well. This isn't like I don't want any violins here. I'm not looking for sympathy. I loved it. But Friday, Saturday night, both in bed after midnight, getting ready, prepping, and all kinds of stuff. And up at 5:30 both days to come in here and start getting ready for the day, and then basically be in the studio all day.
It was exhausting. Absolutely exhausting.
It was a good day.
It was great. It was great vibes.
Wee Man, thank you for the gifted 1. Gaz, how long do you think it will be before the dust settles on the unit options and points values for 10th? I think people are going to be up in arms for probably about a month to a point.
People are so upset.
Because some people play 1 game a month.
Yep.
Right? So once they've played that game and they've started to settle into it, maybe they'll feel like it isn't so bad.
Yeah.
For some factions, it is so bad. We'll get into that more. But Gaz, thank you for the 5. John, thank you for the 5. Did Deathwatch get Oath of the Moment and Furor Tactics? And would you recommend them as a faction for newbie? Thanks. All Space Marine factions, apart from Grey Knights.
Yeah, because they're not real Space Marines.
Because Grey Knights have an army rule and detachment rule. So every Space Marine detachment that you see, Deathwatch, Blood Angels, Dark Angels, they all get Oath of the Moment.
Yep, Space Wolves.
So if Furor Tactics is a detachment rule, which I think it is, we'll get into that in a minute. Yeah, they get that as well. Terso Jimmy, thank you for 5. How do you feel about World Eaters, Corn Demons? How about allying Corn Demons with World Eaters? World Eaters feel like a Hero Hammer army to me at least. I agree with you. I also think World Eaters personally is Codex 8 bound. Again, we'll get into that.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at Corn Demons too much detail though. Maybe we'll do that later.
Ooh, we should.
Bane Roland, thank you for the 20. Go guard tonight. And then Peyton Jelly, thank you for the gifted 1. Lou says, off to a bad start, but treat it like a bad joke. It's happened. Let go. Keep moving forward. We're all in it for you. Although I'm leaving very soon for part-time and story time.
Sounds amazing. We should do story time.
What bloody time in the UK will that be? Okay, Gaz, we go live at we'll go live 40k after that. We'll go live at 9:30 as normal on Friday, okay, in the UK. So maybe draw it at like 10 p.m. UK time, and then we'll be at 2 p.m. here.
Okay.
And we can announce them when they're live on stream.
Sounds fantastic.
Kianan, thank you for the gifted 5. And now what we're going to do is jump into Tau. So what we did do originally was we showed you guys a download page. So if you go head over to Warhammer Community, go to the download section and click downloads, you'll get greeted with a blank page that says we've moved the downloads here, and you click the button and it takes you to this downloads page. Why they couldn't, as a multi-billion-pound company, redirect us ourselves, I don't know. But this is now the page you're now greeted with. All right, show us. Let's show us.
So this is the downloads here. You basically can go boop, 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 downloads, and they'll be like, what? There's nothing here, and then they'll direct you to this link that doesn't look like a link. You click on it,
yeah,
and it'll
really bad,
It's
isn't it?
super hidden. I was like, what the heck? This is nice, though, because, of course, we've been ourselves even just pulling from the Warhammer Community articles, but now that we have all the stuff other than Forge World, you can just jump on this one page and download everything.
Yeah.
So it's exciting. We're just going to go down this list, starting with the 18-page glossary, yeah?
No, please don't. I personally think, and I don't like criticising them too much in an edition that actually personally I love at the moment.
Yeah.
But I personally think an 18-page clarification document is a bad omen for how well the rules are written in 10th.
Yeah, certainly, I think.
Now, I think the intent for all the rules in 10th, I'm really positive about and I like it. But if you need that much clarification, you probably should have done a better job writing it in the first place.
Yeah, they just did a bunch of weird things, and they inverted and reversed a lot of things that were assumed or the way that they're written and all that stuff. So honestly, there's this whole discussion about, is this edition more or less complicated or whatever? It's a lot to hit at first. We have a lot to learn and relearn and unlearn. Once we get that, I think things will be simpler. But right now, there's just so many questions, and that is reflected in the 18-page glossary.
Which, by the way, doesn't answer every question.
In some cases, it creates more questions.
It does.
Yeah, for sure.
Problem, right?
All right, so we've got the Tau. We're going to talk about the army rules, the detachment rules, all that stuff. You ready to do this again? So
no one cares about Tau.
So you want to just skip this
I hope
one?
Brian's not watching.
Go straight to Astartes. So Greater Good. I really love the new design of Tau. I think the last Codex was not the full redesign that I was hoping for. It was still kind of like Codex Castle, where you had big blocks of things and you were just shooting and killing. Didn't even feel very narrative. For the Greater Good is a great rule because it feels much more narrative, and it's going to incentivize you to sort of break up your castles. So the way it works is basically you're going to, as you shoot things, you're going to be pairing up your squads. You're going to have observer squads and guided squads. And basically one's a spotter, the other one gets buffed. And this is great for a couple of reasons. One, it's more narrative for the Greater Good. It doesn't make your opponent feel bad with like this nonsense, stupid Overwatch. And it's going to incentivize you to not just build like a crisis block and like 3 Riptides. You're going to have, you know, a small squad supporting a bigger squad, which is cool.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think from a narrative perspective, so I actually think my personal. Well, I'll add this caveat right now, right at the start for the whole of all these indexes. My personal feel is, on the whole, GW have tried to make more narrative decisions in their rulemaking.
For sure.
And maybe they haven't focused quite so much on balance or competitive play. And for me personally, as a hobbyist and a gamer first, more than I am a tournament goer, I'm more positive for that. The Greater Good, I think, is a really narrative rule.
Yes.
You've got your Pathfinders scouting forward. They're stealthily like designating new targets. They're sending that information back to the big like mech suits and the battle suits, who then their heavy weaponry then comes to bear with its full power because it's guided, because it has that targeting data from the forward scouting units. Narratively, I love that.
Yeah,
I'm
great.
super into it. I think it's super cool. So hopefully all the data sheets are really cool to reflect that.
Right.
But I do really like it, and I think actually on the whole as a mechanic, although it's probably actually slightly more complicated than before.
It is, yeah.
If we think about it, the simplified, not simple approach isn't necessarily correctly applied here. It's more complicated than previously. It feels better than you've got 12 marker lights on you.
Oh, the marker lights were so janky, and in every edition they feel less and less like mandatory or whatever. They're kind of like trying to push them to the side, and they've done a good job here. Basically, the way this works is the guided unit is going to get +1 ballistic skill, so that's not part of the marker light. And then if the observer unit has the marker light keyword, which is actually to say that you have at least one model with it, you don't need multiple, you're going to give ignore cover on top. So this is really nice. And then, of course, they punish you if you split fire by actually giving -1 ballistic skill. So it's cool. It's narrative. It does seem genuinely, it could be strong.
Yeah, I agree.
You know? And that kind of leads us to our detachment rule.
And we talked about this a little bit when you guys weren't watching. I really wasn't into this. Like, I didn't love this one, right? And I'll explain why. Choosing the tactical play between whether you decide to carry on or Montcar is something that Tau players have had access to forever.
Yeah, it's always been
I feel like it's a more narrative option for Tau players than just going, you've just got carry on.
Well, it's very, like, it kind of makes them seem stupid. Because it's like you study the art of war, and you kind of learn there's the different methods. There's the carry on method, there's the Montcalm method, but it's not like, I'm a carry on guy, and I'll always do this, and I'll never adapt. Then you're just a terrible general, right? And so this is actually, in some ways, less narrative.
I think it is less narrative.
Because you
personally
do not adapt to the situation, you know?
I'm not. As a rule, I don't hate it. I think the rule's good. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But again, as a detachment ability, if I was a Tau player, personally, I'd be like, I like having that option to choose whether you carry on Montcar, for me, was a very narrative Tau thing to be able to do. And having lost that, I'd feel a little bit aggrieved by it. Not super upset necessarily, but a bit aggrieved by it. So carry on. What does it do? So first of all, if we talk about the restrictions for this detachment, these restrictions will probably be in every single Tau detachment, so this isn't specific necessarily to carry on. If you take Farsight, you can't take Ethereals. If you take Ethereals, you can't take Farsight. It's just a narrative thing. That's just Tau, right? Farsight does not agree with Ethereals. The Ethereals don't agree with Farsight. Probably not going to change anytime in the future.
I love it.
So the carry on rule. Okay, so if you, from the 3rd battle round onwards, Tau units get sustained hits 1. And if they're a guided unit, they get sustained hits 2.
That is excellent.
So in terms of rules, it's not too dissimilar from 9th edition if you chose carry on, because it's exploding, essentially it's exploding 6s. Strictly not 6s, strictly it's critical hits, but normally that's going to be on a modified hit roll of a 6, okay? So from battle round 4 onwards, your range weapons basically have exploding 6s. Now there may be ways to manipulate what a critical hit is for a specific unit, in which case you potentially could get exploding 5s, but you get exploding 6s. If, however, you're a guided unit, you explode for 2 extra shots, rather than just the 1 extra shot. Yeah, and I like this more than I liked it in 9th edition, which was battle round 3 was exploding 6s, battle round 4 was exploding 5s, and battle round 5 was exploding 4s. I actually kind of prefer this rule.
Yeah, one thing I like about it is the fact that you don't have to be within 12 anymore to get the benefit, which is important because, as we'll see, the Tau units are quite squishy, and they really don't want to be in combat. So getting that flexibility is really nice. It is from battle round 3 onwards, but I think that's fine. It's part of it. Again, I think
that fits the narrative of carry on.
It does a little bit. Again, I think it was better before because as you progress, it not only starts triggering, but it gets better. So you're rewarded for being patient and kind of waiting. And then the other thing that happened with the whole carry on Montcar thing, without dragging it out too long, was because of the way that the missions, the secondaries worked before, it really dictated how you were going to play, right? Montcar gave You had a secondary that's one made you want to score in the beginning, and Kion you scored at the end. And all that's basically gone. So it's just like, we just get better later on.
Yeah.
But, however, very powerful ability.
Cool rule. I wish that as a detachment, as a general of Tau, you had an option to carry on a Montcar, which was before the list building phase.
Yeah.
Because if you think about this from, like, you go to an event or something, you had to already have picked your detachment. You can't choose.
Exactly.
So okay.
So
Into Tau stratagems.
Yeah, I think we probably zip through these a little bit. Basically, when you're getting targeted, you can have a 6-up Feel No Pain.
For Tau battle suits.
For battle suits.
Seems nice.
Which is awesome. I
like
love it.
Yeah.
Coordinated to engage. This is... gives a +1 ballistic skill, and if they have Marker Light, ignore cover. What?
That's really good. Until the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit makes an attack that targets a spotted unit, improve the ballistic skill characteristic by the attack by 1, and if your unit has the Marker Light keyword, that attack has the ignores cover ability for 1 CP.
It's weird because, wait, what does the Marker Light do? The ballistic skill is great because Marker Light's already giving ignore cover.
Oh.
Each time a model in that unit makes an attack, spotted unit, improve the ballistic skill. If your unit has the Marker Light keyword, that attack has...
Oh, okay. So the key here is to look at the target.
Yeah.
So the target of a Tau Empire unit from your army that has been selected as an observer unit.
So the observer gets the bonus.
So the observer gets the unit as well as the guided.
Oh, if they go into the spotted unit.
Yeah. So you pick.
They both get the benefits.
Just to give you guys some clarity, you pick an observer unit that's looking at the spotter unit, and then you pick a guided unit that's guided by the observer unit, and the guided unit gets a +1 ballistic skill. If the guided unit also has a Marker Light, it also gets ignores cover. Why this stratagem is so important is because that observer unit gets none of those benefits whatsoever.
Correct.
What this stratagem does for 1 CP is it lets you target that same unit that your guided unit's already shot at or is shooting at, and you also get +1 ballistic skill, and you also get Marker Lights.
That's awesome.
Sorry, ignores cover if you've got Marker Lights.
Yeah,
That's really cool for 1 CP.
They both get the benefits. That feels like that'll happen a lot.
Yeah.
Strike and Fade, of course, very strong. Actually stronger now. It is 2 CP, whereas it was 1 CP before. But now, this is a normal move after you resolve your shooting attacks, and it doesn't have to be the first unit that you shoot each turn. So incredibly strong with units like Crisis that can become very, very fast. The only way in which it's a little bit weaker is, of course, the fly keyword and battle suits or vehicles. So you're going to pop out and back over. Sorry, pop out and then over rather than through the buildings like you used to before.
So although it's 2 CP, I feel like it's a lot stronger than it was. So I'm okay with it being 2 CP. Because you get a whole normal move and you don't have to... Like, the problem with Strike and Fade at 9th was you had to declare at the start your shooting phase.
Yeah.
And I don't think I ever held anyone to that, quite frankly.
Wow.
Point Blank Ambush, 1 CP. A Tau unit from your army that has not been selected to shoot or fight this phase. Until the end of the phase, each time a model in that unit makes a ranged attack that targets an enemy unit within 9 inches, improve your AP by 1. You can't use this stratagem during the first or second battle rounds of time with that carry-on narrative.
Lame.
Yeah, I don't like that restriction.
That's a dumb restriction, but it's a great strat once you get there. You can do cool, mean stuff with Breachers, getting up there and getting a ton of AP. Again, it's scary because Tau are fragile, so getting close is spooky, but with some of these throwaway units that are going to die anyways, I think it's cool. Photon Grenades, 1 CP in your opponent's charge phase, just after they have declared a charge. And use this with a Tau Empire's grenade unit that's getting charged. Interesting. Enemy unit that's charging has to immediately take a battle shock test, and then they get -2 from their charge rolls.
Now that -2 isn't reliant on failing or passing the battle shock test.
That's what I was just thinking, which is
really good.
Yeah.
So -2 to charge, and think about it, right? Even if that -2, what's lovely about this, what I like about this is even if that -2 doesn't necessarily have an impact because they roll high enough, if they also have failed their battle shock test, and they then suddenly become OC0 for whatever reason, or there's a strat they can't use, it's like multi-layered, and I like that. I think for 1 CP, we're going to see this stratagem loads.
This is awesome. I love it.
Yeah, it's a really cool strat. So combat embarkation, 1 CP, Tau Empire infantry unit from your army that was selected as one of the targets of that charge. So your opponent's charge phase this, right? This is crazy good, okay? You can embark that unit within a transport. If it does, your opponent can then select new targets for the charge. The restriction is that every Tau Empire model has to be within 3, not wholly within 3, but within 3 inches of that transport. And there must be sufficient transport capacity.
This is awesome.
You keep your infantry close to your devilfishes, and I actually feel like in this edition, devilfish and infantry kind of spam is a way that Tau can play now.
Yeah, which
you keep that unit within 3 of that devilfish, and then you get charged. You go, whoop, nope, straight in.
It's so cool. It's so
I'm a fan.
tactical. Yeah, because what this lets you do is, and the Drukhari do this bit, we'll talk later on, is it lets you have you leverage your transport, have the infantry, and then get kind of the benefits of both, right? You get the speed of the transport, you get the scoring capability in the infantry keyword, and then you can kind of return to the safety of the transport, which has always been an awkward thing of like, we use transports. Well, you got out of the transport, now you're done. It's kind of used, it's over. So this is super cool. I'm into it.
Here's what I want to know here, though, however, right? I think you can use both those stratagems in the same unit that declares a charge.
Yeah, for sure.
So you can photon grenade, you're -2 to charge, I'm in my transport, you have to select a new target, and you've got to take a battle shock test.
That's amazing. And while
That's really good.
And even if they make the charge into the transport now, the transport might not have a great OC, but if the battle shock doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So that's cute.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it, right?
I love it. So that is all the stratagems.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know how in-depth you want to get, because we have all the factions.
I don't think I care too much about enhancements, really. I think enhancements, for me personally, stratagems have done a really, really good job, and I feel like for most of the codexes, there's a lot of playing a lot of stratagems.
Yeah.
However, I feel like when it comes to enhancements, maybe not so good a job.
Right.
So I feel like every enhancement could be taken, but I definitely feel like some of them are more of an auto take than others.
Yeah.
All right.
I definitely agree.
So Crew Shaper. Tower Empire model only. When the bearer is leading a unit that uses carry-on detachment, rule takes effect from the second battle round onwards. Really good.
Yeah, but it's on crew.
No,
excluding
Tower
crew
Empire
shapers.
model excluding creep shapers.
That's great.
So you can get exploding 6s on battle round 2 onwards on breaches and stuff like that. Or if you put a commander with Grace's battle seats, you get exploding 2s from battle round 2 onwards. Like that one, I feel like is really good.
Whenever you're looking at these enhancements, always look for the one that is going to buff a unit rather than buff a single model.
Yeah,
And 9 times out of 10, they're going to be better. You know.
Yeah.
This one's amazing, again, in the same kind of vein, Pure Tide Engram chip. Once per turn, you can use a stratagem on the bearer's unit, even if you already used it.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't give you the refund, but you could, photon grenades in 2 spots. Again, very strong right here. It's awesome.
Yeah.
This one just buffs the bearer, +1 to hit, and then when you're in Callion, +1 to wound. So, interesting. We'll see how commanders are.
That's just on battle suits. You don't want to put on anything on battle suits, obviously, but okay.
Exactly.
And then 3-unit devastation, Tower Empire model only. While it's leading a unit, each time that unit is an observer until the end of the phase. Ranged weapons equipped by models in the guiding unit have the lethal hits ability while targeting their spot unit. This is actually really good.
Yeah.
I actually quite like this one.
Yeah, I like it.
Because I think if we look at some of the Tower Empire weapons models, like some of the Tower Empire weapons profiles later on, words, I'll get there, people. And you look at things like fusion blasters and stuff, I think that with the change of toughness in the game in general, lethal hits is going to be really important. So you can chuck this on a character, stick him inside a unit of Pathfinders, become a spotted unit for some battle suits, they all get lethal hits with their fusion. You don't have to worry about that wound roll anymore. I really like it. I'm a big fan.
I'm into it. So that's it. It's just 4. Some people I think get 3, but Tower, cute. Thanks for the art, G-dubs.
Okay, so we'll talk about this. This is something we want to talk about.
Yes,
drones.
definitely.
Big change with drones.
Yeah, so drones are no longer models. They're just war gear upgrades, enhancements, or not enhancements, war gear upgrades, which, by the way, of course, are all free. So the way they work is you buy an upgrade. You buy, for example, a shield drone. It just gives +1 wound to the bearer. And then the actual drone model just becomes a optional token. It's like a cherub if you're used to playing, Sisters or Space Marines. So you can include them if you like that aesthetic of like the big blob of drones, but it's just a war gear upgrade, which is very, very interesting. I like this.
I personally prefer it.
Yeah.
Now, I will add the caveat here for those people that are watching who are Tau players. I've never been a Tau player. I've only ever played against Tau, and I fucking hated drones for years.
Drones are they're an absolute nightmare.
Especially things like shield drones. Oh my god, they can get in the bin. I've hated them. I really fucking hated them.
Yeah.
I hated playing against them. I hated the whole, oh, you've done this massive 40 million damage, a drone dies. Oh, go away, Tau players. This is when no one wants to play you, right?
It's just a pain to manage also. It's not good.
This one, I know that this has come under a lot of fire from people who are Tau players in general. I kind of really do prefer it. I will add a caveat that I think they did shield drones dirty here personally, because all they do is give you +1 wound. That doesn't feel like it's a big deal.
They did them dirty for commanders. +1 wound on a character is not the end of is not amazing, but for Crisis, it's basically just a free +2 wounds on all of them.
Yeah.
And again, because you only need 1 Marker Light in a squad, like you just take 1 Marker Light drone in the whole Crisis squad. Everyone else can take the other drones. And basically, Crisis suits now actually have 6 wounds instead of 4.
Yeah.
So, but for characters, I don't know if you'll ever take it, honestly.
So on the whole, I think the Tau army rules are kind of cool. I like the way that drones have changed. I like the army rule. I'm not so sure on the detachment. Data sheets. Now, we're not going to go into data sheets in detail because, I mean, otherwise if we did that, we'd be here forever.
Exactly.
I feel like I'm not sold on their suits and stuff, which was the mainstay of their army previously. So Brian did some play testing with Tau before the event we did this last weekend, and he just found that they just don't hit hard enough now.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't hit hard enough at all. So I think on the whole, we've seen them have a reduction in range. The weapons are less powerful now overall. Like fusion is nowhere near as an auto take as it used to be.
Oh my gosh, no.
You know, and if you go through the Tau book and you look at it, there's some synergy there. Hammerheads look like they could be really cool, but we're talking about a single shot weapon. That I don't. Granted, it can reroll hits and wounds because it's part of its ability, but it's a single shot weapon. It's not game changing.
Yeah, exactly.
On a tank platform.
No.
How do you feel about their data sheets?
It is relatively underwhelming, and they're suffering from some new addition changes. So, example, the crisis suits, which are interesting. They're vehicle, they're fly, so they give up a lot of secondary points, and of course, fly makes them a lot less maneuverable, and there's weird kind of ways that the buffs stack from the commanders, and Brian was complaining about this the other day, like the fact that there's like the Cold Start commander and the Crisis commander, and they kind of moved around where some of the abilities are. The one that gives you auto advance and the one that gives you ignore modifiers are kind of separate. So it's very awkward to kind of build these Crisis bricks the way you would work, the way that you would. So they're a bit underwhelming.
Yeah, I think when I looked at the army rule, when I looked at even Carry-On, which I know I've already said is something that I'm not super into because I'd rather they had better access to either Montcar or Carry-On. Yeah. And I was like, this looks cool. This looks like it could be really good. Yeah. I looked at the data sheets. I was like, okay, so they've taken a massive hit in ballistic skill pretty much across the board.
Yeah.
Which then I guess the army rule kind of makes up for. But then if you think about it, that just hurts the faction overall. Yeah. Right? Because they're just naturally worse. Which means all those units that are going to be observer units where you haven't spent a CP or you haven't got some additional benefit are just flat hitting worse than they were before. Yeah. So I felt they've wildly pulled down the damage output of Tau. If you're a Tau player in chat, please let me know. I have us on fan funding right now. Don't worry, I'm about to get into super chats, etc. Because I can filter by fan funding now. Did you know that?
Oh yeah, that's amazing.
It's just
that's so nice.
Like I don't have to. All the people that are taking the piss 10 minutes late. Yeah. Exactly. So let's know what you think. Maybe you found something cool already. Like Brian's a big Tau player. We were talking to him on Friday, and he switched out of Tau for the event weekend because he was like, "Hey, look, I just don't feel like these have play. Like they're just going to get steamrolled over."
Yeah.
So if although we're not ranking.
Well,
If we were to rank, right? So we're not ranking like Heart of War, where it's very granular as to where they are position-wise.
Yeah.
If we go for an S, A, B, C, F tier, right? So 1 to 5, basically.
Yeah.
I'd actually probably stick them in a 3 to 4.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be in a B to C kind of position there.
I
with
agree.
That's okay for them. I would have liked to see them, I think you want everything in B. I think they're bottom end B, top end C for me personally.
Yeah, definitely agree. Like they couldn't hang with the stuff that we were running this weekend, but they can still play the game. They're absolutely no Death Guard or Admech, so that's cool.
Absolutely. Cool. Yeah. That's Tau. Right, so Stu, thank you for the 10. Just painting my Fenrisian Wolves, listening to you guys, loving it. Thank you for making me laugh. Still never heard Adrian swear and never heard Liam say a whole paragraph without swearing. He has sworn on the channel.
I have.
Why is it not on Saturday morning on Titans?
no, that's a lie. That's a filthy lie.
You need to watch. It was a what lie?
It's a filthy lie.
Oh, a filthy lie. I thought you said something else. And I was like, snuck that one in.
You did it. Don't tell him which game, so I have to watch all the games.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was in it, so it kind of narrows it down.
You were in it.
In it. Liberty Fire, thank you for the 5. Adrian, top 3 producers, go.
Oh my goodness. Well, obviously it's going to be Mel Lindsay and, I'd say Bridger, but he didn't come in, so I'm gonna give myself the 3rd spot.
I mean, I don't think we can blame Bridger for not coming in with 40 minutes notice.
I'm still putting myself in number 3.
So okay.
I did a great job in the finals.
So you went Mel, then Lindsay.
Yeah.
And then Lindsay's in, I'm going to tell her that now.
I know, but kind of obligated.
Jesse, welcome to Scald, thank you. Kane Jack, welcome to, thank you for upgrading to Scald. Primal Warfare, thank you for the 10. Nightbringer, Warriors 2x20, Tomblaze 2x6, Lords 2, Oracle, Tech 1, Ghost Arc 2, Reanimator 2, Death Marks 2x5, Hexmark, Hypermaterial Obliterator, Thoughts. I keep hearing good things about Necrons, but so far I've only seen them lose. I think Necrons are really good.
Yes, they are really good. There's tough things that they can run into. Like, they are hard to kill. They are very killy, but this doesn't necessarily win you the game every time.
Yeah.
And we've seen that We will play more Necron games, and sure, you'll play more Necron. You'll play Necron games as well. But when Brian played them, they ended up getting kind of castled in the back. And what we've seen in this edition is castles do not win games.
Castles don't work anymore.
They can't. No. So we're going to have to relearn it. It's a very powerful book at like the data sheet level, but you're gonna have to work things out.
Yeah. The list is solid though. You've got the key, got the key stuff in there. 20-man warrior blobs with things like a Technomancer for the Field of Pain, the Ghost Arcs animators. It makes you very tanky. I like it. I think you'll have fun with that list, and then you can just start tweaking. The one thing I'm not sold on at the moment personally is Catan. I don't know how good or bad they are. I'll be interested to see what your experience is like with the Nightbringer. I actually do like the Transcendent with the. I think it's probably not intended, and they'll probably take it away from Necron players.
It's pretty good.
But the Transcendent Catan with the enhancement to give them 4 point of pain and half all damage is just mad.
Yeah, it's too much.
Mad good, right?
Too much.
James, I give you the 10. Tau still feel dangerous, especially with the sustained hits too, if you can chain it. Yeah. Montcar is still the way I want to play, especially as armies need to be killy in the opening turns in 10th. This is why I don't like Calyon, because I think you need to be really killy early on, because stuff's more durable.
Yeah.
So if you can't be killy in the first 2 turns, and your opponent can be, then they probably win that war of durability.
And it's hard also because, again, I think most people are going to be playing tactical secondaries. So what are you going to do? Not draw any kill secondaries in the first couple turns?
Yeah.
It's risky. You have to be ready to go at a moment's notice. So I feel you.
Also, thank you for the poo. Andrew, thank you for the 5. My main issue with Tau is the lack of anti-weapons. Keep up the great work. Here is a poo and a 7 roll on 10th edition. They send it, so you get 7s, I get poos. If anything was to ever describe the difference in our audiences, that's probably it. Yeah, lack of anti. Anti seems really clutch in 10th.
Anti is so huge, and they don't really give it out often, but Tau could use it for sure.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Chris Joss, thank you for the 10. What do you think of Art of War's faction tier? They put Thousand Sun's second faction after Aldari top S tier. Aldari have their own tier. Is this real? Tier, and Grey Knights are a flawed choice. So, okay.
Yeah.
I watched that stream. Like I said, I think if you are into this kind of level of competitiveness and ranking, you should watch it because it's really, really good. I'll explain. Eldari, quite frankly, are in their own S tier right now. I was genuinely, absolutely, completely and utterly surprised that John lost that game on... Oh, spoilers. John lost that game on Sunday against Chaos Space Marines. Alex did play it super well, though. I think we all thought... I think everybody who was involved was like, well, it's an Eldar winning this tournament. And Alex did exactly what you need to do out Eldar.
Yes.
High pressure, relatively early on, pin them in a corner, don't let them move, don't let them get out, don't let them use their fire invade, and he played it really, really well. But I think Eldari are still bonkers good, and I don't know... Whoever wrote that book was on fucking crack when they wrote it, right? When we look at Thousand Suns, when you start putting together the combinations, the auras, the stacking, the buffs, they become terrifyingly lethal, and they can be very, very good.
Yeah.
Watching me play them last week is not an indicator as to how good Thousand Suns are. Watch how Art of War play them and you'll see. And Grey Knights are flawed simply because they do really, really struggle with like big tanks and stuff like that, I think.
And they're relatively elite. That was one of the ones that surprised me. They had Necrons and Grey Knights much lower. I had actually pinned those as second and third. But they have played a lot of games, and they were able to sort of explain their reasoning behind it. Yeah. And it makes sense, for all the reasons that you've said thus far.
Yeah, so, I rated Grey Knights really, really high just because they're movement, and movement's always key. But I mean, they're the experts, I'm not, so
Yeah.
Alex, welcome to the channel as a Hesete. Thank you so much, man. I love you. You're a hero. Gary, thank you for the 5. Talking of an 18-page clarification document being bad omen, do you think third-party PDF document of the rules with these FAQs will be done or gain traction? No, because I think GW will do a lot of that themselves anyway.
Yeah, I think so.
I like to think they will. CP Guy, thank you for the 11. How do you feel about the Grey Knight list? 10 Paladins, 6 Flamers with Drago, with First into the Fray, 5 Terminators with Grandmaster, Librarian with SOE.
Sigil of Exigence.
Yes, absolutely. Brotherhood Champion with Charge, with 5 strikes. Brotherhood Champion with 5 Purgation Flamers, 2 turns 5 strikes, Rhino. Solid.
I like it. The 10 makes me a little bit nervous because it's a lot of points. And
it's a big brick, though.
This is a very expensive army already.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing I get a little bit nervous about is having even less units in an army that has few units. It's a cool list, though.
Yeah, I like it. It's going to be good. That big brick is going to do some work for you. The only downside is if someone can remove, if you face Eldar with an obnoxious number of mortal wounds and they can drop that.
Yeah.
That's the problem for you.
Or if someone can screen you out.
But I'm into it. Thank you. It's cool. CP, and also thank you for becoming a channel member as well. Hesete, you're a hero. Gaz, thank you for the 5. I have to ask, is it just me or the towel behind Adrian having a very camp screaming moment? Having rolled the 1 behind Liam. I didn't even. Yeah, look at that.
Seems appropriate.
That's the roll. Perfect. Yeah. Just failed that 2+ save. Absolutely. Matt, thank you for the 2. Drones were irritating in 9th, which is why I ran 164 Kroot
Yes.
I saw that army. It
Legend.
was amazing. Carl, thank you for the tea. Hashtag I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He says hashtag I miss Joe.
Wow. Well, this isn't the Joe show today, the Liam and Joe show.
Yeah, this is like a slightly trimmed down, less smelly, washed, groomed version of Joe.
Wow, that was a lot to unpack.
Saray joined us as a member as well.
Hey, what's up?
Redacted, Adrian, are GSC vehicles like Truck and Rock Grinder worth taking?
Yes, I'm interested in them. The GSC book suffers from the classic problem of there's so many good units, and there's good units that are worth just completely spamming out. So the Rock Grinder, I'm not 100% on, but the Truck is compelling because it has the Falcon rule where you get out of it, you shoot the truck at something, and then the unit that got out of it gets 4 rerolls to wound.
Yep.
Very interesting with Webbers, which are devastating wounds flamers, and there's a couple other things that are compelling. And if you really, really, really want to make the Killer Morph work, this is the only way, I think. You put him in the squad, he gets the full rerolls, proc all the 6s and stuff like that. So that's where I'm at on them right now.
And don't panic. If we look like we're not going to get through this in time because all these super chats are coming through, we can just do this on Thursday as well and do the second half.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Like, we don't have to play games. I like talking head shows. I like talking to you people. We'll get through these last couple, though, before we jump into the next faction. So he also said, are 8-bound worth it in big units or MSU? Depends entirely. Are you attaching a character or not?
Yes.
If you're attaching a character and you're giving them a unit buff, big units every time because you want to get the maximum value for money there. If you're not attaching a character, MSU for them is very compelling because they're pretty tanky even as units of 3, and they can do some damage as well. They're quite terrifying. So the game I was going to play today, the game I played on Saturday, I had 6 Exalted 8-bound because I put Lord Invocatus in there, 2 units of 3, normal 8-bound because they had no leader, so I want them to run off and do different things. And you want things that you can feed into objectives and things that you can trade with your opponent with, right?
And I feel like this is the ratio that you want. I like that the Exalted and the regular have like different buffs, and it feels like there's really interesting synergy. The regular ones give the damage output, the rerolls to wound, which can buff the other ones. And the Exalted also are much tougher with that 6-up Flame Pain going to a 5, which is awesome. So I think I like the 3s and 6s in the way that you're playing them. I think that's the way to do it.
I still personally believe it's Codex 8-bound, and the more 8-bound you can fit in, I would take 8-bound over Berserkers. 100% every time.
I mean, in our game, you never blood surged once.
The reason why I don't feel like blood surge is like, again, this is a Bridger. I know this is a Bridger comment, but hey, I need you to kill me so my ability goes off. Isn't great. The only reason why I would take Berserkers is so I can squeeze in a Master of Executions.
He's so good.
So I would take a unit of 10 Berserkers with the Master of Execution simply because of that precision, that fights first ability. That's worth it. And then everything else, I would not take Berserkers. I'd just take more 8-bound, personally. Anyway, thank you, DGen, for the 10. Tau got nerfed across the board from 9th. Agree. Crisis suits don't hit up anymore because weapons don't go up in strength compared to toughness. But suits have to be vehicle because hazardous now. Just sad, straight nerfed. I mean, I think datasheet-wise, I agree with you, actually.
Yeah, for sure.
I think they have just flat got worse across the board. I don't think they've become unplayable, but they have flat got worse across the board. I don't disagree. Yeah. 100 thank you for the 5. Wish I'd heard your Aldari advice yesterday. I had almost 2,000 points of Custodes and a Knight Errant wiped by turn 3 last night. Vindicare did good work, though.
This is a really, really rough matchup. Bridger and John have played it a few times, and this was actually the first game of 10th that those two ever played was that, and they took a few days off after that.
Yeah.
They were just like,
It's rough. Brian, thank you for the 10. I watch a good cross-section of YouTube Warhammers, but even as an American, your games sound like playing with my gaming group who have scattered to the wind. Here's a 10 for the nostalgia. Thanks, man.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Love you.
Cheers.
And then finally, James, this is the final one we're going to take before moving to the next faction because it says Tau. Tau have taken a hit, but also Brick of Crisis suits are only 390 points with full drones, so you could run 3 squads of 6, 3 commanders, 3 broadsides, and a Firesight Marksman Sniper to be just under 2,000 points.
Okay, that's really fun.
I mean, it sounds cool in narrative.
I love that, and I like the free war gear here. This is something that's super interesting because you do get to take all the toys and play with it, so it's fun.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Right. So if you're going to keep super chatting, you guys are amazing. I'm going to try and make sure we get through every single one. But we have a lot of factions to get through. We're probably going to have to do multiple streams. We've been live for nearly, actually strictly not an hour because
not an hour.
And we've done one.
But 50 minutes for one faction is not.
Okay. Now we're into Adrian territory.
Let's go. Orks. All right. Look, I have a weird, slightly different take on Orks than other people, and it's a faction I care very much about, the most about. Let's talk about it. Orks are basically all Goths. Well, they're all slightly worse Goths now, And let's talk about it. So the Wa ability remained largely the same. Basically, once per game, you can call a Wa. You can do it start of round now, so you can do it defensively if you need to go second.
That's a good change.
It's a great change.
Yeah.
And what it's going to do is your whole army is going to get a few abilities. You're going to get the ability to advance and charge. This is also vehicles. Doesn't have to just be character vehicles now. Going to give you +1 strength, +1 attack. Awesome. Yep. And most importantly, a 5+ invulnerable save. So you're tougher, you're killier, and you're faster. Amazing.
Yeah, really good.
There is no turn 2 of Wa anymore, which is a bit of a bummer. But overall, I like it. It's cool.
So here's why I don't like it.
Yeah.
Because you just said how much you love it, you're an Orc player. Here's why I don't like it. How often are we going to see an Orc player who will always Wa in turn 1 because of that 5+ invulnerable save? Which means that typically a lot of their army is not going to see the melee bonus, which they should be getting from a Wa.
I think that is only in the most dire of cases. Like if you have proper terrain and if you deployed properly, you shouldn't have to do a turn 1.
Yeah.
You know, I think you really, really need to save it. You're still going to be wanting turn 2 or even 3 and try to save it. It's all about, one thing that hasn't changed about Orks, which is they are a beta strike pressure army. You know what? You're going to be spending the first turn treating a couple Storm Boys or whatever, going your secondaries, staging to either push into the middle and kind of prepare to take the back line, or force your opponent to come up and then you countercharge them. And I think that has not changed. So I think it is worse, but I'm not unhappy about it.
I would have liked it to keep a second turn phase. I think that's all I would have liked to see. And I'd have been okay with it being, you keep the strength and attacks, and you keep the 6 up, feel no pain, but you lose the advance and charge, you lose the 5 up, not feel no pain, sorry, invulnerable save.
Yep.
Like, I don't think that would have been too much for 10th.
No, and I'm going to complain about Orc output when we talk about this army.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Because I think that's a problem.
It's a detachment rule.
Detachment rule. Get stuck in. Melee weapons equipped by Orcs, Orc models from your army have the sustained hits 1 ability. Awesome. So you're basically Goths. Every 6 to hit in melee generates another 6. Cool. It's good. However, it is still worse than Goths. Because remember, Goths also gave the +1 strength, which with many profiles actually mattered a lot. And guess what? Everyone's toughness went up.
Yeah.
So Orcs actually lost strength in the detachment that's supposed to be about melee. And this sucks.
I feel like in 10th edition in general, we watched the toughness bracket do that.
Yep.
Whilst the strength bracket kind of did that, right? And that makes, like, that's where the less lethal comes from. And so I think what I've been seeing so far is people doing everything they possibly can to make sure they can proc mortal wounds, and they can do lethal hits. And so I would argue that to a point, lethality for certain factions hasn't actually come down all that much because they can do so many devastating wounds and so many lethal hits. And so if you don't get that strength buff from the Orcs anymore, it actually really hurts.
It's very brutal. And we're not talking about data sheets, but Gaz is interesting because Makari gives lethal hits within 12, I think, when you're calling your Wa. And that actually is important, it's crazy and it sounds like it shouldn't be a thing because you should already have high strength. But for whatever reason, the lethal hits is important.
I feel like 9th edition, they did for me personally, I'm typically normally happier when I'm playing a melee-focused army. Okay,
Same.
I just prefer it.
Yeah.
Eldar, I actually am happier with things like Shining Spears and Banshees. I play Harlequins, I play World Eaters.
Yep.
I just prefer, even my Admech, I went down the route of Ruststalkers and Infiltrators. I prefer melee. It's always been my favourite.
It's more interesting.
And I feel like 9th edition was actually a very good melee edition.
It was, yeah.
I would argue that to some extent, certain armies were just better armies than others, and they were melee armies. Like Blood Angels had a time in the summer they were incredibly good. World Eaters came out, they were bonkers crazy good. Melee was very, very strong.
Yep.
I feel like I would go, if this is melee and this is range attacks, melee was probably here in 9th, range maybe just down here. Quite close together, but there was a slight discrepancy.
Yeah.
And I feel like what they've done is they've done this, and they've dropped melee right down here in 10th, personally, and shooting is going to be king.
Yeah.
So when your whole detachment ability is sustained hits in melee, it's kind of, it's like World Eaters, okay? My whole detachment ability, and actually most of my army ability, is in melee.
Yeah.
That's why World Eaters aren't going to be in the S, or maybe even the A class.
And at least World Eaters they've given the World Eaters the decency of actually giving them great melee. Orks,
on the whole, yeah.
On the whole, like, compare an 8-bound. How many attacks does an 8-bound have, Liam?
So let's do, because I know where you're going with this.
Okay.
So let's do a direct comparison.
Yeah.
And let's go for the 8-bound with the chain fists.
Yes.
Who are 4 or 5 attacks with their 8-bound chain fists.
4 or 5, okay.
Which is strength 14.
Okay.
AP -4, I think.
Okay.
And flat 3 damage.
Okay. So
If I remember rightly.
a kill saw is strength, I think 12.
Yeah.
AP 2,
Yeah.
2 damage.
Yeah.
On a Mega Knob, 2 attacks.
2 attacks.
2 attacks! Now, of course, if you take the twin kill saws, which I like, they're twin linked, so you're rerolling wounds. And if you're wanting, you get 3 attacks. Oh! Like, what? Are you kidding me?
So the 8-bound champion, the exalted 8-bound champion with a twin chain fist, has 5 attacks with twin linked.
It's just like, what are they doing? So yeah, melee is worse, and they're not giving them good melee, at least in many cases. So honestly, this is just strict downgrade. It's a strict downgrade. And
it's not, like, sustained hits is always a good rule.
Yeah.
But this, it could have been a bit better for us.
It is rough.
Right, let's go into some stratagems then.
Okay, stratagems, on the other hand, are awesome here. Orcs are going to want to spend CP for the first time ever. In 9th, they had terrible strats, and you just spend everything pre-game. Kareen is super cute. Basically, it's the same as before, except now it is... what did they change about it? It's 1 CP, basically. When one of your vehicles explodes, you can make a normal move or fall back before it dies, which is super cute. It's very awkward that they've included this as one of your, like, 5 strats. Like, when you explode 1 out of 6 times on your vehicles, then you get to do this, which will be great when it happens, especially if it's like a battle wagon with big explosion. But why is this one of our 5 strats?
I feel like
Why?
I feel like, I'd say how you make this more valuable
Yeah.
is you say, if you spend a CP...
It does
then
explode.
Either you does it, or even if you go to, you explode on 4+.
Yeah, I agree.
Right? Just to give you a better chance.
That'd be saucy.
Yeah, I think this is a cool strat that could have been made a little bit better. The fact that it is a stratagem that's probably going to come up for, like, because you have such unique conditions to be able to play this, it's a bit of a feels bad when you do restrict the number of stratagems each faction now gets.
Exactly. Orc is never beaten, however. Quite good.
Yeah.
2 CP when an Orc unit is targeted in melee. Fight on death. There's no roll. You just do it.
Any unit.
Any unit.
That's cool. I like that.
This is an excellent strategy.
Really good strat for 2 CP.
Very, very
I like
strong.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unbridled Carnage. This is... Oh, here we go. We're talking about why critical hits are important. 1 command point, fight phase. You critical hit on 5s. So this is super cute, again, because you have sustained hits. So now you're getting sustained hits on 5s and 6s. And then, of course, if you're stacking this with, like, Gaz's bonus, you're lethal hitting on 5s as well. So now you can actually start to wound things with your, low strength Mega Knobs.
You know we have 900 people watching.
What?
We've had 900 people on a talk show before.
Not bad. So 900 people showed up to see you come on late.
And we've gained 47 subscribers.
Ooh, well, 47 is good.
It's not quite the 2,000 that you owe me now.
If you haven't, you should definitely subscribe down below. Smash that subscribe button. Join.
Yeah, okay. So Unbridled Carnage is actually very important for the detachment benefit.
Very
I like
important.
That. I like that a lot.
Yeah, this is great. And of course, this actually used to be 2 CP for Goth, so this is just an upgrade.
That's better.
Very, very pricey. Ardent
Nails.
What's this do?
1 CP in your opponent's shooting or fight phase, just after enemy unit selected its targets, and you obviously pick an Orc unit from your army that was selected as a target of one or more of the attacking unit's attacks. All right. To the end of the phase, each time an attack targets that unit, subtract 1 from the wound roll, and you cannot select a vehicle or Gretchen. This is solid for a CP.
This is amazing. And Orcs are high toughness already.
This is really good for a CP.
Yeah.
-1 to wound is really, really good.
Excellent.
I'm a big fan of that.
And this, I know I keep talking about Mega Knobs, but to me they're one of the most interesting things. You take Mega Knobs, you take the big mech with armor and the force field. They have a 4+ invuln against shooting. They can be -1 to wound. They're very durable. They're more durable than they have been in a long, long time.
Yeah, they kind of perhaps now fit their durability narratively at least.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Even if they don't have any attacks.
Mob rule, so sad. They won't kill anything, but they also won't die. And it shores up one of the major weaknesses, which is making it across the board. And what do you do on the turn after you kill the thing that you land? You survive. Mob rule, I don't love this strat, to be honest. It's narrative, but it's not great. 1 CP, in your command phase, you pick a mob unit from your army that has 10 or more models, and it's not below half strength. Basically, your Orc infantry units within 6 that get battle shocked can still use strats if they're next to it. You like it?
I love it.
You have to pay a CP to pay more CP.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know.
But imagine that clutch moment when you have the 1 CP mob rule on, and then you can use the 1 CP hard as nails to keep that unit alive. Like, I actually think that's really good.
But if it's 1 unit, you could have just spent 1 CP to auto pass the battle shock, and then spend.
Yeah, you could.
So you'd have to fail multiple battle shocks and every time you fail one battle shock, you're like, cool. Do I auto pass or do I like hope I fail another battle shock to make this other strat worth it? But you won't know until it's too late.
Yeah, okay.
Like, when are you using this strat?
I get it. And yet again, it's another one of those strats where there's a unique situation required before you can play it, rather than just being able to play it every turn. It's like one of the things I think they've done well in a lot of the specific indexes is the fact they go, hey, here's 6 stratagems. They're all really good.
Yes.
You can use all of them every turn, but you can't because CP is now a commodity.
Exactly.
And hey, here's the rulebook strats which are also really, really good, but you still don't get any extra CP what you're playing.
Yep.
This makes your decision slightly easier because it is a specific situation, I guess. And in that regards, I kind of also like that because although I think it's really positive that you've got so many strats and not enough CP, which is good because we don't just see transhuman all the
which
time.
they wanted to avoid.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I also like the fact that you can go, okay, I can just put that one to the side now and not worry about it until that one unique situation. It's
true.
I guess. Yeah, I kind of like it, but I also get what you're saying.
I like the spirit behind it. I think it needs a couple tweaks.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, situational. Here we go. This is amazing, Liam.
Start of your movement phase, Orks infantry unit from your army. Until the end of the phase, add 2 to advance and charge rolls for your unit.
It's real spicy.
That's really good.
Very spicy. So, again, Mega Knobs. You're trying to deliver them. You're in the backfield. You're trying to make those key charges. You have to make your charges much more consistent. Only downside is, of course, it's movement phase, so you cannot do it on a unit that's in deep strike. That's a bummer.
Yeah,
but
amazing.
It's a great strat. Love it.
I kind of like it.
So these are the strats. They're great. The enhancements are pretty good too, actually.
Yeah.
This one I love. You're gonna see this in every orc list. Follow me, lads. This is the unit's the bearer's unit has +2 movement.
You combine that with that strat we just saw. +2 move, whilst also getting +2 to advance and charge.
Yep.
And then you war.
Yep. You have orcs that are moving 8 inches, Mega Knobs that are moving 7. This is elf speed, Liam.
Yeah, I mean it is elf
speed. This is awesome.
That's really good.
Solves a big problem,
Big
right?
fan of that. Okay.
Head Wop has killed Choppa. I think you're going to see this in every list. What does this one do?
So melee weapons equipped by the bearer that do not have the extra attack ability have the devastating wounds ability.
It's very good. So you take a.
Is it?
It is. I'll tell you why. So you take a squig boss, either on foot or off. They have both of their weapons have the anti keyword.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now I see it.
They have anti monsters, anti vehicles. The foot one might have anti infantry. I'm not sure. And then if you're the mounted rider, the extra attacks that they have, the squig bites, are already devastating wounds. So you have a lot of attacks that can do a ton of mortal wounds.
Okay, I like it.
It's great.
Cool. Okay.
Super Cyborg body.
The bearer has the Feel Painful Plus.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's cute.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Depending on how many, I guess it's probably the cheaper one, I would assume, in points-wise.
Yeah, I believe so.
So if you have the points and nothing else to spend it on, I can see you taking it, but that's about the only situation.
Exactly. It's tough because these two are amazing, auto takes, and this next one we'll see is probably clearly this next best option.
Cutting but brutal, orc model only. While the bearer is leading a unit, that unit is eligible to shoot, declare a charge, and turn at which it fell back. I always feel like with enhancements, the second it says the unit gets this ability, it's just flat stronger than the other ones.
Exactly. That's what we want to look for, right?
So the fact that you get a whole unit of Mega Knobs, potentially, that you can pull back and charge, is really, really good. Because, of course, when you charge, you get that all-important fights first ability.
And you get movement.
Yeah. Okay.
It is great. So for me, it's like you will always take these other 3 in the Super Cyborg body. While it is not bad, you'll take the other 3. These are great enhancements, great strats.
Yeah.
This is all awesome.
Yeah. I mean, so far, the army rule is good. I think I would have liked it to be a bit better.
Yeah.
The detachment rule is kind of meh. The strats are quite good on the whole, and then the enhancements are okay. Let's talk about data sheets. Again, we're not going to go into each data sheet because we haven't got 16 hours to do this.
Yeah.
But Adrian's an orc player.
I have opinions.
So let's talk about data sheets.
All right, data sheets. So the data sheets is where things get, in my opinion, a little bit stinkier because a lot of them are not as sticky as Death Guard, both literally and figuratively, but a lot of them just feel like straight downgrades. I will be honest with you. It makes me sad. Commandos, for example, can only be taken in squads of 10, and they lost the +1 to wound ability. So it's like 2 of their best assets they can no longer do. Again, the army feels like it suffers from middling to low strength, low AP, all that stuff. The shooting units still don't hit super well, to be honest. Ludas, for God's sake, start by hitting on 6s. Like, I thought we were past this time.
Sucks.
It really sucks. But things I'm excited about. things I'm positive about, are most of the Beast Naga units have had their invulns turned into Feel No Pains, which is great, especially when you have other ways to gain invulns, including Wa. So that's great. The Squig Hogs are awesome. They're tougher than ever. They have toughness 7 now. They have their 4-up save. They have a 5-up Feel No Pain all the time, and they have like millions of attacks. So I highly rate them. I highly rate the Beast Naga boys. The Kill Rig survived and is still very interesting to put in. Meganobs, despite some of my complaints about them, I still think are interesting, and the characters make them more interesting than ever. Stormboy is awesome for advance and charge. The characters are weird, because every character is awesome. They give great bonuses. They're like, here, give this unit a 5-up Feel No Pain. This unit can Wa an extra turn once per game. It's awesome. But you want like more than one of these buffs per unit.
Yeah,
and they really, really restricted. The only way you can have 2 characters in a unit is if you run 20 boys, and I don't love 20 boys, and one of those characters has to be a war boss, which I don't love for boys.
Yeah.
So there's a couple clicks. I'm not as happy as I would have liked to be. However, Orks are going to be able to play the MSU game, the scoring game, still have great scoring units.
Yeah, it's interesting because I mean, I agree with you. I think on the whole, they've been kind of toned down slightly across the board.
Yeah.
I mean, so far, we've talked about Tau, had the same treatment, Orks had the same treatment. Maybe this is all part of the less lethal. But we'll get on to this obviously in other factions, of course, because we'll talk about this for every single faction.
Yep.
And caveat, by the way, we'll have a hard stop today, probably no later than, say, 3 p.m, I would guess, because you've got a meeting later.
I have another show that I'm doing later on.
Yeah. But we can split this into multiple streams throughout the week because he owes me now.
We're definitely going to have
like, there's 960 people watching, so I'm going to do this every day now for the rest of the week. And what we can do is we can do like 4 chunks of we talk about every faction.
Yeah, totally.
What a show. What a series.
What a series. I love it.
For a treat. So, yeah, I think I agree with you. Like, I think the data sheets on the whole have taken a downturn. But what I also do think is that in regards of what you'll see on the tabletop, it might be slightly better than 9th edition.
Yeah.
And I'll explain what I'm saying. So although I think they have all seen a downgrade across the board, I don't think we now necessarily in the Orc Index see hey, I'm going to auto-take 9 buggies.
Correct.
And do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like in that regards, it's better for the game in general because you're going to see more variation in lists.
Orks was naturally one of the very first books that I looked at, and I was like, okay, I'm not super enthused, but it seems fine.
Yeah.
And then I looked at the other books, and I was like, oh, well, compared to this, it's not nearly as good. And maybe that says something more about those books than it does about this book, to be honest.
Thank you beautiful people who have kept coming in and donating and blah. Right, you're amazing. I love you all very, 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 very dearly. So yeah, please do. Like,
you should like.
I come here. I don't come here because I like Adrian. It's just because I just get more subs.
Wow. Tabletop Titans is a great channel. Check that one out.
I'm just joking. I love you. You're my favourite.
I want to support you.
Right, so thank you, Martin, again. Martin, no last name, is what he says. Beautiful, thank you. Dear Grid List, 1,500 points Guard, Lord Solar, 2 times Command Squads, 2 times 20 Krieg, 2 Sentinels, 2 Hellhounds, Field Bombast, Manticore, 2 Basilisks, Lehman Rust Demolisher. So Lehman Rust Demolisher is solid, absolutely solid. Basilisks are going to be the mainstay in a lot of Guard armies for a long time, just because Indirect and Guard is king right now. It's just flat more accurate than actual main battle tanks, which makes me sad, but it is a thing, okay? 20-man Krieg blobs, I'm into it. I don't know if she can actually join them, but Ursula Creed, she's incredible in big blobs of infantry as well. There's ways that you can basically get yourself to like critical hitting on 4+, 5+, with lethal hits, with
rerolls,
3 shots a gun and all that kind of stuff. You can do a 60-shot last guns and stuff like that. It's cute. I like it. Hellhounds, I've not looked at those. The Sentinels, I hope they're Scout Sentinels if you're running Basilisks, because they're an auto-take. Because the Scout Sentinel goes, I can see you, my Basilisk doesn't suffer -1 to hit. Basilisks are heavy, they set a hit on 4+. That means, right, are you ready? Give them the order to take aim, +1 ballistic skill, hit on 3s. They stay still, they're heavy, they hit on 2s. You ignore the indirect buff because you've got a Scout Sentinel.
Well, so you can't get +2 to hit.
It's not +2.
It is +1.
Nope.
Heavy is +1 to hit.
Yep.
And then the order is +1 to hit.
No, it's +1 ballistic skill.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's
so
great.
It's +2.
That's dumb. That's dumb. God, why would they do that? James!
Yeah. Lord Solar is actually quite interesting as well. Super cheap now comparatively, like down at 125 points. And you can redeploy 3 units with him. I think that's an important ability.
Feels like an auto-take, yeah.
But I'm not sure at the moment, like the sequencing at the start of the game, redeploying is kind of weird right now.
Yeah.
But I feel like the intent will eventually be that you make an informed redeploy decision rather than a random one.
I hope they change that. I'm not sure if they will, because a lot of units are after you deployed before you start, but not all of them, right?
And don't forget, that list that he's just told us is 1,500 points only.
What?
He's got 500 more points to spare.
You're kidding me.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. Yeah, this one currently is still just, you don't know who's going first.
Yeah.
Powerful, but not as powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there you go. Cool. Thank you for the 15 Norwegian Corona, you legend. Tony, thank you for the 10. What can be done to make Votann no longer Sandhammer? Votann, and we'll get into this, right, when we get to the Codex.
Yeah.
Votann have been done a bit dirty.
Yeah.
Like, they came out...
Yeah.
They've been done dirty twice, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The first one was when they came out so powerful, so incredibly, unbelievably busted.
Yeah.
GW had to release an FAQ that was in place before the general public got their hands on the book. That's a bad sign straight away, right? And even then, they were still pretty good. Yeah, they were toned down a bit. They weren't going to necessarily turn up at auto-win events, but they were mad good. And they kind of received the almost Tau Aldari stigma that have existed for years. Well, I don't want to play you if you're a Votann player.
Yeah,
which
for
is
sure.
a shame, right? Because people were so excited about essentially squats coming back to 40k.
Yeah.
The index came, I looked at it because I actually started to quite like Votann. I hated it. I hated all of it when it came out. And then Joe paid the models up and gave them to me. I was like, oh, actually, these are growing. I'm starting to like them.
Yeah.
And I dug into the index and was a bit sad because they've almost had Tau treatment, right? Strip ballistic skill across the board. Yeah. They don't have the variety that Tau has to keep them interesting right now.
Yeah, I definitely agree. When they had started showing the previews, it was like, okay, well, they're taking a hit, but they have these other ways of getting pluses to hit. When you get them on the table, it's still really tough to get them to have significant output or significant durability, to be honest. They kind of, they're a little bit short on just everything, right? Yeah. How do you fix that? I really don't want to say just points, because I don't want to see a Horde Votann either. Like, I'm
okay with Horde Votann. If you think about it, the dwarfs of 40k, Horde dwarfs, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I guess that could be cute. That could be cute. It's certainly the easiest approach, right? And I know there's complaints about like transport capacity, which is an easy fix, but it does require them to change the data sheet. So I don't know if they're going to do that soon.
Here's the other reason why I'm into Horde Votann. Yeah. What's their army rule?
I don't know.
Well, we'll get into it, but basically their army rule is judgment takens, and units have to die for you to get judgment takens. So if you don't give them Horde Votann, my units are all dead, so I get my army benefit, but I've got nothing left to use it.
Yeah.
So I think points actually is the way you fix it.
I could be into that.
For me personally.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your first ever super chat as well, Tony. You're a legend. I love you.
Welcome.
Thank you for the 7. Who do you guys think is the biggest Dark Horse faction, and why is it Chaos Space Marines? What an amazing index. I honestly, one of the first things both Joe and I did on our channel was go to the Chaos Space Marines index, because Joe has been moaning about Chaos Space Marines for fucking ever. Yeah. We went straight to that index and read it, and he was like, it's okay. And I was like, this is fucking incredible.
It's a very Chaos player thing.
And for ages I was going, how can people not see how good this book is?
Yeah.
And then Alex showed us this last weekend. Oh, yeah. That book is really good.
Nuts.
It's and that wasn't as optimized as it could have been.
No.
That book is crazy good. Yeah. I agree with you. They were probably the biggest Dark Horse faction where everyone read that. The amount of people that messaged me when that fucking book came, when they first released the army rule, before they released the index, and were like, this is the only faction ability where you take mortal wounds and you take damage for having your ability. I'm like, and we're sat there, right? We're sat there with the indexes going, I can't say it.
Yeah.
Wait till you read it's mad good. The things you can do with it is mad good. You have to take a penalty because it's so good.
It's so strong. And it's a very Chaos faction in the sense that you can just build these ridiculous, insane combos and just obliterate people. It's very, very cool.
Yeah.
Definitely the Dark Horse, for sure.
They do a big old magic stack, right? That's what they do. They're really good. You like it? Yeah. Brian, thank you for the 5. Any tips for Drukhari? Feel free to answer when you get to them. I personally like the idea of lots of Reavers and Hellions for speed. I still actually think in 10th edition, speed is going to be really, really key.
Yes.
Reavers and Hellions are fast, but don't forget the fly has taken a big nerf.
Yeah.
So if terrain's in the way, it slows you right down as you have to measure that diagonal distance rather than just the horizontal distance. But speed will be clutch, especially considering I think we will see people using the tactical deck quite often as well, which tells you go and secure to a no man's land or get to the corners or get in the middle and deploy teleport homers or whatever. Yeah. So speed is going to be clutch. I think Venom spam is a very strong Drukhari build.
Yeah, I think Venom spam and Warrior spam, honestly. Just combat squatting into the 2 Venoms and just having an absurd amount of mobility, shooting, scoring. You can have rerolls everywhere as things die. It feels very, very strong. We played 1 game with Drukhari, and the scariest unit on the board was just a unit of 10 warriors in a raider. And my God, if you had a whole army of that, I think it's very, very strong. supported, of course, by minimum of 3. You have 3 Ravagers all the time. So I think that is the way you play them for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. James says there's going to be feels bad moments at events when someone calls war at the start of turn, not battle round, and get a whole turn to react if they go second. Huh? Do you get that? Do you understand that?
Say again.
He says that there's going to be some feels bad moments at events when someone calls war at the start of turn, not battle round, and get a whole turn to react if they go second.
Get a whole turn to react if they go second. No, I'm not getting it.
Yeah, I'm not getting it.
I'm not getting it.
Yeah. I don't know what you mean, James.
Sorry, James.
Yeah, I don't get it. So you call war at the start of the battle round, right?
Yeah.
So...
Well, he's saying if they do start a turn.
Yeah, so if you... So I'm going to try and
forget.
decipher this. He's from the country, so these people talk funny, so it might just be. So if you war at the start of the battle round and you're going second, your opponent then gets to go, I'm moving out the way, I guess, because and you can't use your advance and charge.
True.
Which I guess is maybe part of what he's talking about in terms of feels bad.
Okay.
But you're doing it because if you're doing that, you're probably doing it because you want your feel no pain, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The invuln.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. I think it's not optimal. Again, you don't want to do that, but being able to do that is important. And yeah, going first, going second is going to affect. It's going to drastically change the way that you play the game.
Yeah.
And with Orks, the threat of something is often as good as actually doing it.
I do actually genuinely think that the war ability, because it's start battle round now, is just stronger if you do go first.
Correct. But James is not wrong about going second. That is actually going to be a problem.
Yeah.
So that's very interesting.
Laura, thank you for the 5. Finally learning to play in 10th edition with Orks. So far, I have a bit of everything. What should I get more of or not use yet for playability, learnability?
Great question.
I'm going to hand this one to you. You're the Orc person.
Oh, I mean, you could just said Mega Knobs.
I mean, clearly.
Mega Knobs are awesome. And get the big mech character for sure. I also really like Storm Boys and Squighog Boys.
Squighog Boys are really good.
And Fast Attack has always been the slot for me for Orks. It's like you get this fast scoring. It's awesome. Burner Boys I think are interesting again because one, Flamers are awesome with Overwatch. They do get Cut in Flames back, which is AP 2 in melee, which is great. So those for me feel like the safe picks that are going to be strong no matter what. Where you branch out from there, I haven't totally determined. I haven't really figured out really how we're killing tanks and stuff like that. But those feel like great choices. I think one Squigwas for sure. Maybe you take 2 each game. They're a bit awkward because they can get shot now, but they are very durable and they are very killy. So that's going to take a bit more practice. But those other ones that I mentioned feel like safe bets that you're going to want to take pretty much every game. It just lets you play the tactical cards. I played John and Spoiler. I beat him by quite a large margin, and I got tabled basically. Because you run out, you score your stuff, they die. And I think that's how Orcs are going to want to play. It's like MSU, board pressure, melee.
Yeah, Laura, considering your learning, I'm trying not to treat you like an idiot, clearly. MSU, multiple...
Small units.
Sorry, yeah. Okay. So MSU has been a build forever in 40k. Lots and lots of small units that can go into different directions, different areas, and trade. I think that to some extent 10th edition encourages a restriction of MSU because if you attach a character to a unit, again, you want to give that. You don't get as many auras now. There's not so many buffs that go, hey, I stand this character in the middle, and all of my MSU units get the buff now.
Right.
Now it's a case of while I'm leading a unit, there's a buff. And so that's a unit that you don't want to be a small unit. You kind of want it to be a big one to maximise the profitability from that particular ability that the commander or the leader is giving. But MSU is definitely going to be a build. For example, I feel like Sisters are going to be strongest in MSU.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of times you just won't take the character now.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Hopefully we've answered your question, North. Atlas, thank you for the 5. Evening, lads. Being with Titans since almost the beginning, and a member with Liam for the last 20 minutes. Question incoming. Yes. This one's just support.
Oh, appreciate it. Cheers.
Legend, thank you so much. You let us know. Thank you for your first ever super chat. Love you. Tenacious Techie, first long time for both channels. Incredible weekend. Amazing work all. Question on Gaz. When not leading a unit, is he immune to battle shock? As a unit of 2, wounds are not considered, so he can never be under half. Because Makari is a model in the unit. So it's a unit of 2 models, right? Or is Makari just a token?
He is
Let's go back to Orks, because he's the first data sheet, right?
Yeah.
So we can actually do this and look.
Yeah, let's take a look.
Let's take a look.
Please hold. Please hold.
Yeah, we go. Let's go down the Gaz.
Beautiful.
Is he unit composition 2?
Oh, apparently not the first one.
Oh,
wait.
Oh, I thought Gaz was the first one.
I thought he was.
I hear nope. Oh. Have we gone past him?
What the heck?
Are you going for a search?
Yeah, I'm risking it. I can't see it, but
That's a battle wagon. Because Gaz can be taken in the battle wagon.
Stompa.
The Stompa.
Did we go past him somehow?
I thought we were. What?
I'm really not sure.
Look at all
What
these things that Gaz can go in.
What button am I clicking on?
And what I'm going to do in the meantime is I'm going to go to the Warhammer 40k app that we have access to.
Oh, we should have just done
Me
that.
and Adrian are special. I'm going to search Gaz and I'm already there. That's how good the app is.
It's so good.
It's really responsive.
What the heck?
Okay, so Gaz and Makari, unit composition, 1 Gaz Golthracker, 1 Makari. So it can't be below half strength.
That's very interesting.
So he doesn't take battle shock.
That's super cute. Yeah.
Because it doesn't say they have to be about half strength, they have to be below half strength.
Yeah.
Okay, looks like it.
I'm into it. That's
What
great.
a find. What a find.
Perfect,
tonight,
perfect.
Stinky. 100%.
Cheers.
Alex, thank you for joining the channel. Carl, thank you for the 5. What faction rule change would you do? And what, if anything, would you change in the core rules of 10th? What one faction rule change would you do?
One faction rule change.
Okay.
Double turn Wah. Just kidding.
I would change Eldar Fate Dice.
Yes.
The 1 Fate Dice per unit per activation.
Agreed.
So D-cannons in the shooting phase, you can use 1 Fate Dice per that particular unit shooting.
Yep.
That's what I would change. That brings Eldar right back down, and they'll probably be relatively balanced then.
Yep. That's my change. I think it is the single biggest, most important, most impactful change you could possibly make. 100%.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
What about core rule changes? What core rules would you change in 10th, if anything? I like the core rules on the whole.
I do like them overall. What would I change? You can stand on objectives again.
Actually, that's a big deal. It's a pain in the ass.
It's such a pain, and it feels like there's so many unintended consequences. It's just not worth it.
is.
It's not worth the trouble.
There's people using objectives now to move block.
Yeah.
So yeah,
You kind of have to.
That sounds good. It's a simple
Yeah.
change as well. It's easy. Okay.
Thank
Simon,
you.
thank you for the 10. Oh my God, there's so many. Look at this.
Liam, we're gonna get through 2 factions.
Yeah, but we can do another one tomorrow, another one Thursday.
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make you do what I did for you this weekend. Go to Bristol GT this weekend. It's being done as a 9th ed, sadly. For laughs, I'm taking Avatar, Baby B, Special K, 3 times Wraith Lords, 2 times 3 Bike Sword and Board, Wraith Knight Scorpion, Super Heavy Grav Tank Thoughts. Love it. It's fun.
That's
Go
so
and enjoy
fun.
yourself, Simon.
I think
That's
that
just a
sounds amazing.
bonkers list of nuts, stupid stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm all about it.
I love it.
And enjoy it, right? It's the end of 9th. Who cares about winning? Just go for it, have fun, and be like, hey, look at this stupid list.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll probably be surprised. It's Eldar, right? They're always great.
Right.
Thank you so much for the donor, man. You're a hero. Andrew, thank you for the 7. Sisters list.
Okay.
3 times Battle Sister Squad. Palatine Imagifier in that in one of those units, I guess, or in 2 of those units. 3 times Sacrosanct Hospitaller. 2 times Dominion in Immolators. 2 Exorcists. 2 times 2 Crusader. Litanies of Faith. 4++ on 60 girls. 4 up Invan on 60 girls.
That's awesome.
That is kind of cool, actually.
This list is all about durability, obviously.
I think sisters kind of have to be out durability if they can be, because their damage output just isn't that great now.
Yeah, I keep going back and forth. We were talking about sisters yesterday. I was working on some lists. Like, it's tough because you make them durable, but are they durable enough? You know, you can, like, Sacrosanct's minus what?
I'm going to hand you this so I'll use the bathroom in a minute.
Oh,
That's it.
That's
It's got a long stream, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we're in this one here, right? Okay.
Yeah, sounds
But
good.
I'm going to mute myself so
Yeah,
you don't
please
hear
do.
me.
Please do. I know it's on your channel, but
And then I'm going to, in about 5 minutes, unmute just for that ASMR.
perfection.
I'll be back, Adrian. I'll be back.
Yeah, sounds good. I hope so.
You keep talking to chat.
He's not coming back, chat. So I go back and forth because, like, Sacrosancts, with, like, Junith, for example, give them -1 to hit, -1 to wound. You need something to give them a 2+ save. There's ways to make them durable, but you're like, is it durable enough? Like, you still take a few devastating wounds and you're just dead. But I think it's something that's worth pursuing. I like this. I think the other thing I'm also interested in is MSU again, multiple small units, and one of the things the sisters suffer from in the new index is the fact that they are largely squads of 10. It's like what comes in the box. So Battle Sisters are 10, Retributors are 10, even Dominions are 10, which is really dumb. So I'm really interested in Seraphim and Zephyrim for the ability to just score points and die if they have to, but then they're just going to do that with 5 bodies at a time. So I'm very interested in that. In fact, the 2 Dominions in the Immolator, Andrew, I'm not sure if they can fit because the Immolator is still restricted to like 6. So again, Dominions should be squads of 5. I'm not sure what they're thinking. So that's a bit awkward. I like the 2 Exorcists. Yeah, that's kind of where we're at on that. Thank you, Rustun, for the super chat. Trucks at 50 points is insane. Yes. Oh no. Liam.
Yeah.
I just got a text from Mel. It says you did not mute.
I did mute.
So I don't know.
It's absolutely muted.
Okay. All right.
Now I can talk.
Sounds good. Let us know in chat.
Oh no, I definitely didn't mute. Has it been on mute the whole time then? Because I clicked the switch. That's working now. Okay, cool. I don't care. ASMR, it's fun. This is our channel. We love it. We're good. Where did we get to? Did you just do that one?
We just got to Rustun. 50 points for a truck is awesome.
Did they hear the thud when it hit the floor? Zip thud. Did they hear that? Is it muted now? Oh, I don't know.
Pull the Jeff, I love it.
I even checked the levels when I left the room. Oh, okay, all right, cool.
It's all good.
There you go. This is the quality you can expect. 900 of you that are watching.
welcome, all you Titan members.
There you go.
Yeah, 50 points for truck is awesome. I like trucks; they're super cool. Battle wagons are very expensive. They look awesome, and then you see the price point 180 points. Considering a fire prism is 125 and a lancer is 145, seems pretty criminal in my opinion. You know, the whole open top thing. You can give Orks +1 BS when you're in a battle wagon. Cool. Well, they still kind of suck, and the battle wagon's expensive. So trucks of 50, very interesting, very compelling.
Yeah, looking at the chat. Yeah. But it wasn't muted. Cool.
I'm a little scared because I have to use the restroom.
Okay.
Good luck.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, you know your mic's better than me.
I do.
You watched me flick the switch though, so.
I did. Well, I'm gonna.
You're gonna mute on the roadcaster this time instead.
I might even take the batteries out.
Adrian's super nervous now. I think you're fine. I think if you've muted yourself, you're fine. Oh, okay. Batteries are actually out of the pack. All right, angry. Okay. Where are we? So we did the trucks one, right? Oh, he's gone already. I'm a casual Death Guard player. Our faction is getting crushed in both casual and competitive settings. Thoughts on allying in CSM or demons into Death Guard? History, schmistry. Thank you for the 5. Right, the thing is with Death Guard is the only demons you can ally into Death Guard are Nurgle demons, and I feel like Nurgle demons are also the worst demons in the demons book, which is also a problem. So it's hard to be positive about Death Guard right now, and I feel really bad because I hate just being negative about something all the time and for the sake of being negative. But it's really hard to feel positive about Death Guard at the moment. I just feel like GW have done them a real dirty. There have been people out there who have been on content and on their pages going, it's not that bad. No, it is that bad for Death Guard for me right now. I think the best way to run Death Guard, you will need to add in some demons, I think, to give you a bit more variety. I think you need Plague Burst Crawlers, maybe Blight Drones. It's kind of the best 2 units in the book. And then you basically, if it was me, I'd be looking at adding in Chaos Knights. Like, I feel like the only way you're going to really make them work is by adding in Chaos Knights. And even then, it's not the best. It's not great. So it is currently getting crushed in 10th. What I do hope is GW see this very, very quickly. Again, Art of War's stream, they put them in a category right at the bottom which just said why GWY. Like, again, why GWY? They were down there, and they were down there with AdMech as well. We'll get onto that when we jump into the AdMech book, of course. But like, they're just, I've looked through the book so many times. I can't see how they work. I can't see how you make them work. Not great. Danny, thank you for the 5. I'm a bit worried about not being able to get my GSE into combat. Ambushing neophyte seems good, but what about all the melee elements? I feel like with Genestealer Cults now, melee is not the way to go. We'll ask Adrian about this when he gets back for the bathroom, but like, they need to be taken into shooting now more than they do melee. They're just better at it. They don't have any abilities to come in from reserves or from blips and then be able to get into combat more effectively. They've lost advance and charge, unless you're pure strain Gene Stealers. They just aren't designed as a melee faction now. And we kind of saw this with the game that Adrian and I played on Saturday as well. However, he is the Colts expert on this one, so we'll have to ask him when he gets over here. He's got to do 45 steps to get his mic working in there because he was so nervous about the fact that you wouldn't hear a thud with him, basically.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. Is it gonna fire straight back in again?
No, I'm probably going to end up just muted for the rest of the show.
It says mute. There you go. You good?
Hello, I'm still going to check the levels. Hello.
He's so nervous.
I'm a consummate professional.
You like it being more chilled on this channel, right?
Yeah, it's nice.
This is where you belong. So he says, Danny Smith says he's worried about not being able to get his GC into combat. Ambush and near fight seems good, but what about all the melee elements? And I said to him, just don't focus on melee, tech into shooting.
Yeah, it's not a melee detachment, certainly. It's rough to deliver, honestly. So I would focus, if you're trying to optimize, I would focus on shooting. Melee is okay. You saw the list I played on this weekend. My melee had one squad with fight on death and one squad with fight first. So because I was not sure when I'd be able to deliver, I would use them as more of a counter charge or as something to kind of hold an objective and say, if you want to come take this objective, I'm still going to fight you and maybe kill you off of it. So that was kind of my approach because I wasn't particularly impressed by the delivery of the melee either. I think we could see a melee detachment come out when the Codex comes out.
Mel's in chat as well. You did not even know how class we are at Titans until now, did you?
I know, right?
Hey, this is the stuff that keeps people sticking around, Mel. We're a real world channel. Hey, the sub numbers just jumped as well. Look at that.
No way.
Yeah.
If you haven't, you should throw a subscribe this way. If you want to hear more toilet ASMR. Shall we?
Look how nervous you look.
I'm not nervous.
I don't care. It's not. If I'd done this on Titans, I'd have felt bad. But on my channel, I mean, we would have heard and seen worse.
Exactly.
So where were we? Well, that was Danny's. So what we're going to do now, Kev, we're going to hold yours and everything below for now. Apart from Jacob did Super Chat 5 and said, I feel obliged to tip now. Absolutely. And then Tony Super Chat 5 and said, it was at this time Liam realised he mucked up. I mean, or did I?
Yeah, it was on purpose.
Or did I?
Pretty sure that's illegal.
It's probably against YouTube terms of service, yeah.
Yep.
I will jump into the rest of these after Danny's, once we've done the next faction.
Necrons! Now, I'm excited to talk about this, partially because I really don't know Necrons very well. I love Necrons, but with the massive release, this is the most new 40k rules that we've had at any time ever at once. So we've kind of had to divvy up the factions. And this is a faction that I have neither read against, read of, nor played. So I'm excited.
I love Necrons from a narrative perspective.
Yeah, they're so cool.
Since they came out, I think when did they first come out? 5th edition, I think they first dropped the Necron models. I loved them, and I was sad when they upgraded the range and we lost pariahs as a thing. And slowly but surely they've gained new. Yeah, I know, right? They've gained new models. When Indomitus came out in 9th edition, and they had all more new Necron models, and you had the new Catan, and the new the Doomstalkers and the Reanimators. I love those kits. I'm so into Necrons. Cool. I love them. From an aesthetic perspective, I think they are incredible. And I really, really dig them. And I love the narrative behind Necrons as well. This was a faction that I feel like had real sine wavy kind of experience in 9th edition. They had real peaks and real troughs, right? At times they were just flat garbage and they couldn't compete at all. And at times they were so good because they just turned up and scored secondaries.
Yep.
And they were kind of all over the place. And then they had the moment where everything went coring, even the Silent King. And it was just... GW just didn't really seem to know what they wanted to do with Necrons.
They really did not.
Okay, so I was interested to see what they did with them in 10th edition, and here we are. We have reanimation protocols, right? This came out, and people kind of was a bit upset that it didn't seem to be as good as it could be, and I'll explain why in just a moment. If your army faction is Necrons at the end of your command phase, each unit with this ability activates its reanimation protocols and reanimates D3 wounds. Each time such unit reanimates, blah. I'll explain. If you have a model that is on lower than its starting number of wounds, the first thing you do is start giving it wounds back. Right? And if you run out of wounds to give it back, it stops there. If, however, that model becomes at its full starting number of wounds and you still have wounds to reanimate because you've rolled a 3 on the D3 and you've only given 2 back to that particular model, you then bring another model back on a single wound, and then you go through that process again and you start adding wounds to it. Make sense? I think that's the clearest way I can explain it, because if you read that, it can get confusing.
Yeah.
So basically, the wounds start carrying over, and once everything's at full health, it creates a new model, and if that goes up to full health, it would create a new model, and if that goes up to full health, it creates a new model. So if you're at single wound models, it's really, really easy. You just gain 3 models back. But say you've got a unit of Scorpec Destroyers, and you roll, you have one guy on full health, you have one guy on 1 wound taken, 2 wounds remaining, and 1 guy dead, and you rolled a 3 on your D3 for reanimating wounds. That one guy with 1 wound taken would go back up to full health, and then you get another one back, another Scorpec Destroyer back, and then you give him a wound to go up to 2 wounds, and then you stop because you've run out of wound to give. Makes sense?
Yep.
I love it.
Love it.
I think it's better than old reanimation, personally. Only because of the way it works with things like multi-wound units.
Okay. Yeah.
That being said, the problem I have with it is it's the end of your command phase. And that takes back into 8th edition Necrons, where a player would go, I know you can't reanimate till the end of your command phase, so I'm just going to make sure I remove that unit with my whole army, and then you can't reanimate it because it's gone.
Exactly. And this was the concern that a lot of people had, myself included, was like, wait a minute, this is back the way it was before, and it's just flat worse. That's before, of course, you get into the context of all the myriad ways you can trigger and re-trigger this and boost this during the game. And again, this is...
So from a community perspective, I don't blame people for complaining when all they saw was this.
No, 100%. That was the correct response. It was worse. Other than, as you said, with like single wound models, this basically replaces living metal, heals you D3 instead of just 1, which is good, because healing 1 wound was very stupid.
Yeah, and the other thing is, as well, is it means we also don't have 2 separate rules. We don't have living metal and reanimation, we just have the 1.
It's elegant, right?
And I kind of like it, right?
Yeah.
It's cool. It doesn't seem to be as strong on the surface. So the command protocols detachment rule, again, from a narrative perspective, I love it.
Yeah. It's
I
elegant.
have one concern with this one, which we'll go into. So while a character model is leading a unit, each unit makes an attack, add 1 to the hit roll. Very Necron, right? They're mindless, undead automata that, unless they're essentially being guided, okay, back to Tau, they are worse at what they're doing because they are just mindless automata.
Yeah, and it also represents, my will be done, which used to be a thing that they did.
The downside to this is it encourages character spam.
Yeah.
Which means, I personally think that if you take the best Necron list you can take, you're almost just accepting the fact that you're giving your opponent an opportunity to take Assassinate.
That's interesting. That might be true. I'll make 2 points. One, because it is equivalent to my will be done. You weren't always getting that on your whole army, right? It wasn't like you were spamming out like with Pharaon and all these things to kind of give that out. And 2, you can break this, of course, with one of the characters where this is an aura. Any of your units within 6 of this model, I think it's not Caesaric.
Oricon?
I think it's Oricon. I think it's, I don't know, one of the characters.
So how does that go?
Every unit within 6 counts as being led. Which is amazing. So it's an aura of +1 to wound, +1 to hit.
Isn't that an enhancement that you put on the lone operative guy?
No. This is where my lack of knowledge is coming through. But it is a thing that you can do. Bridger is very excited about it, and what that means is you don't need a lot of characters, and you can even give this ability to units that cannot be led normally. Yeah. So like Catacomb Doomsday Arcs can be led, so they're hitting on 2s.
Yeah, that's cool.
Wild. But again, that's a very castle-y kind of strategy, which, as we've seen.
So if it's a combination that I think we're talking about, it's the little like deep strikey lone operative multi-pistol guy whose name completely
the
escapes me
Hexmark
right
Destroyer.
Now. Thank you, the Hexmark.
Yeah, or and the Gloctopus is maybe.
Yeah, the Gloctopus with the. I love that name. How have I not heard that name before?
It's great, right?
It has an enhancement which does that, right?
Yeah.
And Bridges seems to be, and the reason why it works on him is because he's a lone operative. So he doesn't have to join a unit.
Exactly.
So he becomes untargetable unless you're within 12 inches. So he just walks around untargetable going, you can't hit me, and I'm giving this big aura buff out. Yeah. Now, Bridges is under the impression that this is not as intended, and that he's going to lose access to this particular enhancement. I don't know if that is going to be the case or not, but I do. It's a very good way of running Necrons. Back to the rule. I like the narrative aspect of this, though.
This is cool.
I'm a fan of it. I like it.
All right, let's take a look at some strategeries.
Some stratagems.
Doing some strategos. Awakened Dynasty, Protocol of the Eternal Guardian. So the strats are cute because this is what the protocols used to be, basically. And protocols were a huge pain in the butt, and I hated playing them in the previous edition, even though Necrons are awesome. So Protocol of the Eternal Guardian, 1 command point in any phase. When a Necron's infantry character model from your army is destroyed. Okay, what happens? Well, you set the model back up on the battlefield as close as possible, more than 1 inch away from enemy models, with half of the wounds remaining. And you can only do this once per game. So this existed before.
So you can only do this once per game per model?
Per model.
So you can do it multiple times per game?
Yeah.
It has to be a different character?
Exactly, which is kind of what it was before.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
1 CP, you just get him back. So this isn't what it is before. Because before, you had to roll a 4+. So before you spend the CP,
did have to roll 4+.
So
You're
before
right.
And I always hated abilities, and there's some of them still exist, but I always hate abilities where you have to spend CP to do it, and then you have to roll a dice to see if it works.
Yeah.
I've always hated that. There's a slight caveat, right? If it's a fight on death stratagem, and you've got a unit of 20 or 10 models, and it says that you need to roll a 4+, okay, I get that you're toning that down a little bit.
Checks out.
You're keeping it 1 CP because if you just automatically with all the models, and World Eaters could do this in 9th edition with all of their models, and I thought that was too cheap. You needed more CP. But with the Necron character one, I always felt bad that I spend my CP, I rolled a 2, I don't get my character back, and I'm down a CP.
Yeah, agreed.
Now again, CP in 9th edition is less common, so this is important that they already removed that extra layer before you got the ability to trigger. This is really, really good. I like it.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
You want to tell us about the protocol of the Hungry Void?
Hungry Void, fight phase, 1 Necron unit from your army that has not been selected to fight this phase. Until the end of the phase, add 1 to the strength characteristics of melee weapons equipped by models in your unit. In addition, if a Necron character is leading your unit, until the end of that phase, improve the armor penetration characteristics of melee weapons equipped by models in that unit by 1. Maybe this is mildly controversial. I think that most people don't care about the first part of that rule.
Yes, I was not enthused until you got to the end. I was like,
The first part, so again, to explain to you people that have joined us recently, okay? Addition, right? Toughness gap, gone like that, compared to 9th. Strength gap, gone like that, okay? So +1 to strength is often not going to make a massive difference.
Agreed. It's yeah.
A lot of these things I feel like would have been significantly more effective and more impactful if they would have simply given +1 to wound instead of +1 strength.
Oh God, that would be so strong.
It'd be so strong.
They could have at least said +2 strength, right?
Okay, all that, right?
Just make it that more proportional, you know?
So that part of the rule, I'm not super into. I don't really care about it that much. It's a thing that I have, cool. It may help in certain circumstances, but on the whole, it's not going to make a massive
It'll
difference.
matter in certain cases, whereas +1 AP is almost universally good.
+1 AP is always good.
Well, not against demons.
Well, no,
Or Harlequins.
All right.
Almost.
+1 AP is like, especially when you consider the addition, what they've basically done with AP and melee in general has gone, we're stripping it right back.
Yeah. Let me tell you about Mega Knobs.
We already heard it. I went to the
They
bathroom.
massacred my boy. The worst.
It's all right. It's not your channel. It's fine. It's just your logo everywhere.
I know, right? It's just the children. Look at this Tao. He's shocked at what you're saying.
Right. If any parents out there actually let my children watch this channel, you are irresponsible parents.
That's fair.
You
That's
shouldn't
fair.
let your children watch my channel.
agree.
I have a Joe, for Christ's sake. There's no way you should ever let anyone watch that kind of man-bear-pig on screen. Okay. So, I mean, you don't care about the strength. You do care about the AP.
Yeah.
Sometimes the strength will make a difference, but I think on the whole, you're doing that if you're chucking it on a unit with a character inside.
Agreed. Protocol of the Conquering Tyrant, 1 command point in your shooting phase. 1 Necron's unit from your army that has not been selected to shoot this phase. What does it do? Until the end of the phase, each time modeled in this unit makes an attack, blah, blah, blah. Nope, not blah, blah, blah. Makes an attack at the target's unit within half of the firing weapon's range. You can re-roll the wound roll.
Massive.
And if they're being led by a character, it applies at the full range.
Yep.
1 command point for full rerolls to wound.
It's mad game.
What?
Yep.
This is shocking. What? I've not seen these stratagems before. This is absurd.
So firstly, I'm kind of into the fact they're using the protocols now as a name for stratagem.
I love
That's
that.
kinda cool.
That's great.
But you compare this to the last one.
Yeah.
This one's just flat better,
It's just better.
and they're both 1 CP.
But one's shooting and one's melee.
Which makes this one, so that already makes this one better because it's a shooting edition, but you just get re-rolled to wounds for characters in your unit.
Wow.
At full range.
Holy moly. On any unit. This doesn't have to be
Even in
infantry.
half range, if there's no character in the unit, even if in half range you get that, it's good.
Oh my God.
Right? Monolith Death Rays?
Amazing.
It's really good.
Well, yeah, because so there's a couple things you do when you look at a book. You look at the strats, you look at the keywords, you look at where's devastating wounds. Okay, how do I reroll? How do I get twin linked?
Yeah.
Well, here it is on demand.
Yeah. So those Doomsday Arcs you've just got hitting on 2s,
Oh.
reroll a wound.
Oh my God.
And they're a big range as well, so they get rerolled to wounds even half range. You don't need the character.
This is offensive. Man, I want to play my Necrons. This is why Brian and Bridger both get to.
Go up. If a Necron's character is leading your unit, that's interesting. What does that piece of enhancement do?
They count as being led by a character. Yep.
So that would proc this as well. Mm-hmm. Oh my god! That's really good.
Yup.
That's really, really good. No wonder Brian took him off Bridger.
I know. I want to take them off these guys. My turn to lose with them.
Protocol of the Undying Legions, another 1 CP stratagem in your opponent's shooting or fight phase just after enemy unit has resolved its attack. So they've made their attacks at this point. Right, 1 Necron unit from your army that had 1 or more of its models destroyed as a result of the attacking unit's attacks. Your unit activates its reanimation protocols and reanimates D3 wounds. When doing so, if a Necron's character leading your unit reanimates D3 plus 1 wounds instead.
So this is where we start to see why the reanimation is actually very strong, despite the base rule kind of looking worse. Now you can trigger it on demand, and it's going to make it harder for people to wipe the squad before you get to your command phase. And spoiler alert, this is not the only way you can do this, right?
Yeah, there's a number of ways you can do it.
Very, very strong ability.
And some people, I've seen some people out there going, D3, I don't care, why is that so good? I mean, imagine if you have lost, let's say, for example, we go back to the Scorpec situation.
Yeah.
You've lost a Scorpec and 1 has taken a single wound.
Yeah.
And you're lucky enough to get a 3+ on your D3 roll. Or you have a character leading the unit, you just need to get a 1 or a 2 on your D3 roll. At that point, you then gain a wound back on that Scorpec and you gain a whole other Scorpec destroyer back, which is important. And the reason why that's important is also because of the sequencing. This isn't at the end of your opponent's shooting phase. This is once that unit has taken casualties. So you put that 1 Scorpec back and go, hey, I've got a Scorpec with 1 wound remaining. You can hit me with 3 damage weapons now, or 2 damage weapons. You're still only killing this 1 that's sat here with 1 wound remaining.
Exactly.
Just makes your unit more durable.
Yeah.
And like, it's for CP, I think it's really good.
It's awesome.
I'm a big fan.
This is really cool. And this is a good, it's well designed strat. By itself, not even too crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Protocol of the Vengeful Stars,
You get the
1
big
command point. I know, there's a lot of words. When does it happen? Your opponent's shooting phase just after an enemy unit has resolved its attacks, okay?
Yep.
1 Necron's unit from your army that had 1 or more of its models destroyed as a result of the attacking unit's attacks. So, similar thing. This is the shooting phase, though. You can shoot as if it was your shooting phase, but must target the enemy, basically, so you can shoot back at the squad that shot you. On top, if you're led by a character, you get ignore cover. What? This is ridiculous.
You can see why Bridger's so up on Necrons right now.
What is this book? This is crazy.
Important to note, this is when a model's destroyed. So again, you can't use this on things like Doomsday Arcs because if the model's destroyed, the model's gone, right?
Yeah.
But for other units with good ranged firepower,
amazing.
20 warrior bricks with grass reapers.
Exactly. Grass reapers?
Yeah, grass reapers. Yeah, you just hose them back, and
Oh my god.
you potentially have in-laws cover.
Oh my god, it's so cool.
It's really good.
This is amazing.
It's also really good on things like heavy destroyers. Units of heavy destroyers, you take 1 casualty and heavy destroyers shoot back.
I really like heavy destroyers. They're cheap and they're flat
they're
6
really good.
damage.
They're really good.
We have 1 built. I got 2 more I need to build.
Oh, you're on about yeah.
Yeah.
But even just
the shooting destroyers,
Locust
Locusts.
destroyers are also
Yeah.
really good with this particular
Exactly.
strategy. I like it, yeah. So Protocol of the Sudden Storm, the last protocol, your movement phase, 1 Necron unit from your army until the end of the turn. Range weapons have the assault ability. Great, because we now know that advancing with assault weapons, you suffer 0 penalty whatsoever.
Yep.
If a character is leading your unit, you're also getting that +1 to hit whilst you're advancing
Yep.
and using them as assault weapons. But if you also have a character leading the unit until the end of the phase, you can re-roll advanced rolls made for that unit.
Awesome. This is great.
Really good.
This is the only strat that I'm not pulling my hair out, and it's an amazing stratagem.
It's a whole bucket of good stratagems, though.
Yeah, exactly. This is a great utility strat. It's specific, but it's not so specific that you're probably going to use this multiple times in a game anyways.
You absolutely are.
It's great.
Yeah, it's really, really
I love
good.
it.
And again, let's not forget, Warhammer 40k in general, movement is always key.
Yeah.
You get more movement from this for 1 CP, and you still get to shoot. Really good. I'm a big
pretty
fan of it. Yeah, I like it.
So those are the strats. Amazing.
Yeah, really good.
Let's take a look at the enhancements. Oh boy.
So Veil hasn't really changed, right? Once per battle at the end of your opponent's turn, if the bearer is not within engagement range of enemy units, the bearer can use this enhancement. If it does remove that unit from the battlefield, then in the reinforcement step of your next movement phase, set it up anywhere on the battlefield more than 9 inches away from enemy models. Okay?
Amazing.
It's kind of the same. The difference being it doesn't trigger in your command phase or your movement phase, it triggers at the end of your opponent's turn.
So it's we here at Titans have been, and Liam, you know, you're like Titans.
We're we.
We're
we. Just remember that bathroom break.
We've been, it feels like a you problem right there. Rapid ingress, incredibly strong. Incredibly strong, period. This is that, but almost better because you can also do it on turn 1 because you're already starting on the battlefield. It's great. It's a very strong ability.
Yeah.
You get the best of both worlds.
Yeah. So
That's great.
So one of the reasons why rapid ingress is so strong is because it happens in your opponent's movement phase. Okay, which then means although they then get a chance to shoot at you, right, you then get a chance to move in your next turn before you do anything like charging.
Correct.
So rapid ingress is, for example, clutch for things like Genestealer Cults. If you wanted to bring them in via deep strike, because you can start 9 inches away, they do their shooting, etc. You then move your distance, and then you can charge. The only reason why this one's slightly worse than rapid ingress is because it comes in your own reinforcement step, so you're still 9 inches away. But again, we're talking about shooting edition. So dumping,
you're right.
Dumping 20,
I misunderstood.
Dumping 20 warriors with Gauss Flayers or Gauss Reapers 9 inches away is still no bad thing.
It's still great. Speaking of Genestealer Cults, amazing strat where you can pick up a unit at the end of the opponent's turn, come in next turn. I do it every turn because it's so strong, and this is the same thing.
Yeah.
You're right. It is different than rapid ingress.
So the only thing that I have seen people say about this online is, hey, it's super cool because you remove it at the end of the opponent's turn, and then you bring it back at the end of your movement phase, which means you skip the whole command phase, which means you don't take battle shock.
Yep.
If you check out the 18-page clarification document, it will state that you, as soon as you arrive on the battlefield, you then take battle shock. So if you are below half strength,
really?
You then take battle shock as you arrive.
Okay.
As you arrive, you take it. Yeah.
But fair is fair. You also get to reanimate when you're off the battlefield too.
Which is absolutely mad. Who thought that was a good idea? The Sovereign Coronal Aura. So a Necron's model. When a friendly Necron's unit is within 6 inches of the bearer, that unit counts as being led by the character model.
There it is.
Now this is why this is important. Okay, so you take this Sovereign Coronal. Currently, I think you will see in every Necron's list without fail.
Easily.
And the best model to put this on is the, what was he called?
The Gloctopus.
The Gloctopus. I love that name. That's my favourite. He's the best model to put it on. Why? He doesn't have to join a unit. He's a lone operative. The lone operative keyword means that unless you're within 12 inches of that particular model, you can't use it as a target for your range attacks. So he sits there, completely unhounded by enemy units because you can't target him, and he gives buffs out to everything. A Necron's unit counts as being led by a character other than 6 inches. So Doomsday Arcs, Doomstalkers, like the Flyers, anything. If they're within 6 inches of him, you count as being led by a character,
so cool.
So you get +1 to hit.
Amazing ability.
Incredible ability.
It's going to be in every single Necron list.
Absolutely.
The Hypermaterial Ablator, Necron's model only, shocking. While the bearer is leading a unit, models in that unit have the stealth ability. In addition, each time range attack that targets the bearer unit, if it's not within 12 inches, the model in that unit have the benefit of cover. Holy moly! So 20 warriors getting cover, -1 to hit.
Yep.
This is amazing.
Yeah, so
Super
far we've seen 3 good enhancements.
Right.
You can also see the designers note on that last one, by the way. For the purpose of stratagems, it counts being led by a character.
They're like, by the way,
so you do get the real wounds.
Yeah, they're like, in case you're thinking that this doesn't work this way, it does work this way. So correct.
Then we have the Sempiternal Weave. The bearer has a Fear No Pain 4+.
Bah.
It's not bad. It's okay.
Yeah.
You're not going to take this one over the other 3.
Unless you're running a Catan.
Unless you're running a Catan, because this can be put on a Transcendent Catan, because he's a character
For now.
who doesn't have the Epic Hero keyword, which means he can take an enhancement. Oh, what did you do there?
I think I just locked the screen. I think we're still live.
This is the premium content people pay for, Adrian.
This only happens in your stream. Why is there a lock button right here?
I don't know. That's
Why?
a weird keyboard.
Why? So if I, anyways.
I panicked there for a minute, chat. Right, yeah. So the Sempiternal Weave. The reason why I say you won't take, I don't think you'll see this one over the other ones, is simply because I don't, at the moment, feel like we're going to see a ton of Catan on the tabletop, right? So me personally, I feel like the other 3 give your whole army better kind of abilities than this particular one, which is just 1 model.
Yeah.
Having said that, if you do put on a Transcendent Catan who already halves all damage and then has a 4-up Feel No Pain, as well as having his 4-up Invulnerable save, it's
pretty good.
It's pretty terrifying.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Play it while you can.
I like it. Cool, so that is our enhancements, so data sheets.
Yeah, what do you want to talk about?
You haven't really looked at these loads.
I haven't really, so it's hard for me to pick out key ones to look at.
Yeah, there's some definite auto takes in this book, in my opinion. So Orkan is a crazy choice in this book.
Yeah.
He powers up and just goes bonkers. I've said this to Bridger a couple of times, I really rate Illuminos Zarez as well. I think he's borderline an auto take. But you need to tech into him. So you need him to have the things around him that make him good. So you need warrior bricks and stuff like that to make him decent.
Agreed.
On the whole, I think we saw. Okay, what are we looking for? Oh, we're looking for Orkan. Okay,
sure.
there he is.
Just kind of.
There's Orkan.
So he's amazing.
So look at what he can do, right? What he's leading the unit, the models have a 4-up invulnerable save. So again, 20-man Brecker Warriors, in he goes.
And that's what Chronomancers do.
The stars are right. Once per battle at the start of the fight phase, this model can use this ability. If it does until the end of the phase, triple the attacks and strength characteristics of this model star from tomorrow. And every successful wound made for this model's attacks cause a critical wound.
Let's see what keywords he has on his weapon.
Yeah, so normally he has 2 attacks at strength 4. So he goes to 6 attacks at strength 12, -3. And every wound is a critical wound, and he's got devastating wounds.
That is...
Which means every wound is doing D3 mortals.
He can kill a knight.
He's good. Yeah, he gets really pissed off,
Yeah.
and then he bonks someone hard, right?
Amazing.
If you scroll, I guess this is the same thing for him. If you scroll down the page, though, this model can be attached to any of the following units, okay? So he can be attached to Immortals, Lich Guard, Necron Warriors, and here's the important part. He can also join a unit that a Royal Warden or a Noble is already part of.
That's cool.
So you get that 4-up invulnerable save, you can then chuck another Noble in, and you can use one of the other enhancements, and you just have an incredible unit at that point.
This is great.
Orokin's a great unit. We didn't really see him taken at all in 9th edition. I feel like he's a lot more of an auto-take nowadays.
Amazing.
He's
great. He's great with Lich Guard, with Sword and Board, which we don't have. Makes him super, super tough, super durable. I think we have a lot of theories still to test about Necrons, personally. Obviously, they didn't do amazing in the tournament, but very strong, very cool. I'm really curious, if we can take a second, my favorite model in the entire army is the Doomstalkers, and I have no idea what they do.
All right, cool.
So we're just gonna find them.
Technomasters? They've got some. So if you go, we won't do this now, obviously, but whilst Adrian's flicking through, if you go through and look at all the different cryptex, they offer some really cool buffs. Again, they can join units that other characters have already joined, which is cool. Crypto Thralls are an auto take because they offer a little feel no pain kind of ablative wound thing. I really dig the Catan, but I feel like there's better choices for points nowadays.
Agreed.
Ophidian Destroyers are incredible. They've done a good job in this index, actually, of making units that we didn't really see loads of in the previous edition come to life. For example, I think Reanimators have play. It's just some really cool stuff in this book, and I'm a big fan of what they've done. So here we go. This is our friendly neighborhood Doomstalker.
So cool.
Overwatch is on 5 with the Doomstalker.
Oh, that's cute.
Right, which is already good.
That's cute.
If you go into his actual weapons on the left-hand side, he has a 48-inch range Doomsday blaster. So it is heavy. So you've kind of got that thing that it used to have where you needed to stay still for it to be better. Yeah. But it hasn't got 2 different profiles anymore. It's got 1 flat profile.
Yeah, okay.
Right? So if you stay still, you're hitting on 3s. But you don't need to stay still if you've got a Gloctopus nearby with that particular relic, because you'll hit on 3s anyway.
Yep.
D6 +1 shots with blast, strength 14, -3 damage. It's a solid weapon.
It's a solid weapon. It's an infantry killer, right?
Well, I mean, it is an infantry killer, but the strength of it and the AP
infantry.
of it means it's not terrible against vehicles either at 3 damage a pop.
Very true.
I'm a big fan of it.
It's cool.
Yeah.
It doesn't blow me out of the water, but it's cool.
I mean, I think it's got Don't forget, it's got a 4-up invulnerable save natively now.
Oh, it does.
Right?
Okay.
So and what's his toughness? If you go up again, it's toughness 10, I think.
No.
Oh.
Broke it. Toughness 8.
Toughness. Oh, okay. Toughness 8. All right. 12 wounds. Toughness 8 is not bad.
Toughness 8 is not bad. You know, he's kind of spindly. It's got the vehicle keyword. Awesome. This was always a problem before. Is they weren't vehicles, and so you couldn't repair them the way you could vehicles. I don't know if that matters now, but they were always just a day late and $1 short. So
12 wounds at toughness 8 with a 3-up save and a 4-up invulnerable save actually gives them a degree of durability. And not forgetting that then if they don't get killed, they're going to get D3 wounds back with reanimation protocols.
Yeah.
Which is really nice.
Very cool.
I don't dislike Doomstalkers. Yeah. Necrons on the whole, I think, just have a book of solid choices. They're going to become significantly stronger when you start to work out how you layer certain buffs and benefits by adding certain characters and using certain stratagems, etc. But I think for me personally, Necrons is just a solid book right now. I think we here in the studio rate them really highly in general, actually.
They're great.
Yeah, a really good book. That's Necrons. Right, I'm going to jump back into some questions.
Hello.
Oh my God, it's kept going.
Love it.
Oh my God. Where are we? Okay, thank you, Kevin, for the 5. Hello, just want to say I'm so tired from watching every game the last 10 days. Had to take time off work and a holiday, watching from a hot tub. Love y'all.
Legend. Thank you so much.
What a hero.
What?
There was people that I saw throughout the weekend in every single chat.
That's so cool.
And there were people from the UK, people that I typically see in my audience, who I saw in a lot of the chats throughout the weekend.
Which is very impressive.
At times I'm like, hang on. It's 2 a.m. at home.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
You can't miss a second.
It's incredible. We had over 1,000 people watching for every game.
It was amazing. I really, really want to thank everyone for showing up. supporting us, and just kind of enjoying 10th and talking about 10th, because that's what this is about. It's going to be a crazy time, but like, let's go through it together. So thank you.
Kevin, thank you for the 5. Atlas 1 comes back in with the 5. Then I played Grey Knights, played Orks this weekend.
Okay.
Once you play exploding 5s on 20 boys unit with a 5++ eats a whole Terminator squad, and I've only got 3. Orks feel strong.
So people are generally pretty positive about Orks, and that's why I'm trying to caveat a lot of the times I talk about Orks with the fact that I have a lot of questions, and I have a lot of things I want to test out, because I'm just uncertain. I would love the 20 boys to be good, so we'll definitely have to try it. I mean, it's a lot of attacks. If you put the war boss, you're hitting on 2s. That's cool. That's great to know. Appreciate it.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah. Thank you so much for the 5. I know you're a hero. Oh, hang on. Borns, I guess. Thank you for the 10. You're a hero. Hi, Legends. Favourite data sheet, hidden gem. Mine is Hellblasters can all take plasma pistols, not just the sergeant, so they're shooting in melee upon death isn't trash either. That's a cool ability.
That's cool. They're just like, whoop.
I don't know about hidden gems right now.
Yeah.
That's an interesting one.
Hidden gems.
Because all the gems I found, I feel like they aren't that hidden. I feel like they're really obvious, right?
Yeah, exactly. Trying to think about some of the books. Yeah, most of the ones I'm thinking of like are already just known. They're just good. I do like the Big Mech with Mega Knob armor. Because like at first it's gotta be Gaz. You gotta have Gaz lead a squad or whatever. But the Big Mech giving the 4+ invuln against shooting feels like so clutch, and I think I don't want people to sleep on that. So I think Mega Nom characters are good.
I feel like the whole 10th edition prep, you've read one data sheet. And that's when you.
That's why I come back to it. No, it's good. It's good. Most of the other stuff is like already good. We know it's good.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if I have a hidden gem as such.
Yeah.
There's a couple of data sheets I really love. Again, I don't think they're hidden. Like I very quickly found this, so I don't feel like this is a hidden one. Master of Executions and World Eaters are just incredible units.
Yeah.
Like, and I went straight to looking at Khan because he's Khan the Betrayer, and then I found this Master of Executions and was like, hang on, I get fights first and I get precision.
It's so good.
That's incredibly good.
Yeah.
We kind of showcased that a little bit on Saturday.
Yeah, you did. You killed 2 characters. You killed 2 characters. I had made a mistake, and then Liam was like, "Oh, just walk it back." I'm like, "Oh, thanks, that's so kind of you." And then we're like, "Well, what's this one guy gonna do anyways?" And he like runs up behind the building, and he just like Kool-Aid Man's through the wall and like chops the head off 2 characters from my 20-man block, my 2 like leading characters, and we're like, all right, that was dope.
Here's a potential hidden gem that I actually discovered when I went to Warhammer Fest and did a behind-the-scenes playtest of 10th edition with Games Workshop. They invited that to me privately. I'm still not allowed today to tell us about all the experiences, despite the fact that I would be allowed to at one point, they told me. Anyway, I took Thousand Suns for that particular experience because I hadn't really played them in 9th edition, and the hidden gem from that was something that I discovered, and I explained it, and GW went, oh, that doesn't make any sense. Genius. And that is the fact that, you know, Magnus, when he goes down to like 5 wounds left or less, he goes to -1 to hit. But Magnus is a Psyker. And Magnus Aura says that all Psykers within 6 inches get +1 to hit and +1 to wound.
That's hilarious.
So he actually doesn't take any
he doesn't degrade.
Negative at all.
That's amazing.
The degrade is utterly pointless.
Oh my god. Yes!
The degrade is utterly pointless.
That's awesome.
Because he gives himself +1 to hit. That's my favourite hidden gem so far.
There you go.
Competent rules writing team. Pip, thank you for the 2. Carnivore Night Tyrant ×3. Shalaxi, 2,000 points. Good game 10th.
Yo, I love this. Oh my gosh.
That's a cool list.
So, I love Shalaxi.
Yeah.
I'm starting on 2 Tyrants for Chaos. It's going to be awesome.
I love the fact that we're probably going to see more Tyrants now, because I feel like we just didn't see... 9th was Codex War Dog or Codex Armiger.
Yeah, I mean, so, you know, playtested the previous Knights books, and they were very afraid of the Castellans being overly powerful, because we had just come out of an edition where they were overly afraid. There was that, you know, the famous LVO where GW comes over to America for the Las Vegas Open, and we're all playing Castellans. They're like, you animals, what is wrong with you? We're like, yeah, they're really good. I don't know if you know.
Yeah.
It's kind of a thing, and so when they made that last book, they were very, very afraid. So that you know was kind of in a timeout zone a little bit. They're like going to play it safe. Now, I think they're great. I don't think they're too strong. We'll see. The Valiant might be too strong.
I think the Valiant might be.
The Valiant might be too strong. But it's cool.
Valiant, Flamer, and Overwatch, and then the anti-vehicle 4+ harpoon with 12 damage is a bit mad,
it's
right,
a little
in my
bit
opinion.
Yeah.
Jacob, thank you for the 5. Retracted his message. Probably left in disgust after he heard me thud on the floor. David, thank you for the 11. Damage reduction needs to be addressed. Terrain effects can reduce things like D3 and D6 mortals to nothing due to how you apply mortal wounds that aren't flat numbers. So okay, so damage. What we're talking about here is devastating wounds, right?
Yeah.
So devastating wounds isn't I do mortals to you. Devastating wounds is I do mortals. I do my damage as mortals. So if you hit something that reduces damage by 1 or changes the damage characteristic to 0, you apply that effect first before you then deal the damage as mortal wounds, right?
Correct.
So when you have a stratagem that says I change damage to 0, which exists in certain books. You apply that, damage goes to 0, your Devastating Wounds has already triggered, if it's an anti-vehicle 4+ Thunderclaw Harpoon, for example, and you go, cool, you're doing 0 mortal wounds to me because you're 0 damage. I don't know if that's a problem, though. Because he says at the start, damage reduction needs to be addressed. Does it, though?
Wait, how does it get to 0 again?
So for example, there's stratagems that exist that say, when this model fails an armor saving throw, play the stratagem, change damage characteristics to 0.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a problem to me.
Right.
It makes the strat actually do something.
So again, let's say you're getting hit by something like the Thunderclaw Harpoon, and I don't know if this actually is a situation that could exist, but just for the sake of argument, right? And the Thunderclaw Harpoon rolls a wound, and actually this doesn't need to be addressed. I'll tell you why this doesn't need to be addressed.
Why?
Because those kind of rules say when you fail an armor saving throw,
Oh,
you don't take an armor saving throw against devastating wounds.
true.
That's interesting. Because again, I rolled a wound, I rolled a 4+.
Yeah.
You can take an armor save, but it's pointless because I'm doing mortal wounds. But I do my damage as mortal wounds. So can you change the damage to 0 if you could only change damage to 0 after you failed the saving throw?
God.
So add some more pages to that clarification document, please, Games Workshop.
No. It's a great point. I don't know.
It's weird, isn't it?
Don't have an answer.
I don't know. That's David. I don't know how. I don't know how that works.
You made it worse.
I made it worse. I thought I'd solved it. No, I made it worse. Tony, thank you for the 5. It was this. Yeah, we've done that one. Thanks, man. You're a hero. Kevin, thank you for joining us as a Skull tier hero. Hazard says, thank you for the 10. What's with the pricing of Dreadnought, specifically the Redemptor, at 225 points?
That's
50 points more, you can get a stronger, sturdier Land Raider, and that can transport guys inside. Was that just a toilet flush? Yeah, toilet's flush here. It's not. We're in America. It's not a third world country.
Yeah, that's true.
Some places.
Yeah, that's way too much. Unfortunately, to be fair, last edition was repeatedly Codex Dreadnoughts for Space Marines at various times during the edition, and so I won't miss that not being a thing. But Dreadnoughts they don't feel interesting to me at all right now, which is a bit of a bummer. But and the Redemptor I think is the most interesting of the Dreadnoughts.
I don't know if this is an intentional move because I think that in 9th edition we saw nothing but Dreadnoughts everywhere. But I think I am kind of the same as you. I don't feel like Dreadnoughts are that much of a big deal right now.
Yep.
225 points for Redemptor for me is too much.
That's way too much.
That's too high.
You got a Lancer for 145.
I think it's an answer to 9th without actually applying that to... They've almost gone, okay, people took loads of Dreadnoughts in 9th edition, put the points up, but hang on, you need to look at the fact that you've changed data sheets, you've changed toughness brackets, you've changed strength brackets.
Yeah.
So you didn't need to put the points up now because the changes you've already made have already probably made them less compelling anyway.
And I think it is it's not, again, like you said, it's not deliberate. They're worried about things being overly strong. It's not that they're saying we want to make this unit bad. It's like, oh, we had a Castellan problem, we want to be careful. We had a Dreadnought problem, we want to be careful. But it's not like they're trying to make them not interesting.
Yeah. Scooter, thank you for the 5. 30 Genestealer Cult bikes, 3 alphas, 3 Ridge Runners, 785 points with enhancement. So Bike Rush. I think it's 66 D6 rolls to do mortals on 4+ before shooting themselves. I knew you'd like this.
Yes! Oh man, I've got 25 bikes. I have to build the last 5, and then we're doing this. Amazing.
Because it's weird, right? Because you move and you can do mortals, and then if you have the alpha, you can move again, and then you can do more mortals.
And then if you do Prowling Adjutant, if you move with a 9, I'll move again.
And do more mortals.
Oh
my god.
And then if you Overwatch, you shoot,
lethal.
And you move again.
Less lethal. Dolthar, thank you for the 5. What do you think about 18 Zoanthropes, covered by Venomthropes and supported by 3 Exocrines? Zoanthropes are probably one of my most favourite Tyranid models. I have no idea what their rules do right now off the top of my head, but I'm into it because they look cool. So. A whole army of floating brain bugs.
That's what they do. I'm super into zoanthropes right now. I opened up the book. I was like, I was very curious. Psychic Edition gone. Or Psychic Phase gone. What do you do with zoanthropes? And they made them very, very interesting. They give an aura of a 6-up invul, all Tyranids. Amazing. Already worth taking. They have a cute ability that if an enemy fails a battle shock test nearby, they take D3 mortal wounds. So they basically perils. That's cute. But the clincher for me is this is a book that suffers into high toughness. They actually don't have a lot of anti-tank. And these are basically, every zoanthrope was a 24-inch las cannon.
That's cool.
That is awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And they're not crazy priced, so I like this a lot. I worry if you do like 18 of these and the exocrines that like you will shoot the absolute like crap out of anything that you can see, but you can already do that. So I wouldn't go like maybe do 18 zoanthropes and then build the rest of your list to be able to score or do something else. Again, I really like them. If you take zoanthropes, you take venomthropes for the -1 to hit, and then you take gaunts, and suddenly the gaunt blob always gets cover, -1 to hit, 6-up invuln, 5-up feeling pain for 1 CP with synapse. Then you can play the rest of the game a bit better.
You take a couple of units of 5 barb gaunts, slow everything else down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
Probably 3.
I'm gonna slow you all down whilst I just pummel you with last cannons.
It's
I
awesome.
like it. It's cool. What I'm gonna do quickly is give a massive shout out to Nordos who gifted a membership.
Thank you.
We haven't had gifts for like the last hour.
Oh well.
So thank you, Nordos.
That's rookie numbers.
You're a hero. It is rookie numbers. Pump them up. Should we go to the next faction? Yeah.
Yeah.
So if we haven't got to you yet, we will get to you. We're gonna jump into the next faction quickly now.
Let's do it. Boop. Let's take a look. Oh, Votann. We already kind of pooped on these guys.
Yeah, we're getting all the shit ones out of the way here.
We really are. All right, let's take a look. So Votann, Eye of the Ancestors. This is a long way of saying grudgement tokens. If your army faction is Leagues of Votann, each time an enemy unit destroys a Leagues of Votann unit from your army, this triggers much less often than before.
Yep.
That enemy unit gains 1 judgment token. An enemy unit can never have more than 2 judgment tokens, and any further that are generated are ignored. Each time a model from your army with this ability makes an attack that targets a unit that has 1 or more judgment tokens, you get these bonuses. What do you get? Well, if they have 1 judgment token, you get +1 to hit. If they have 2 judgment tokens, they get +1 to hit and +1 to wound.
So the rule itself isn't bad.
Yeah.
The +1 to hit, +1 to wound.
It's good.
Apart from the fact that Votann have lost ballistic skill across the range, basically.
Correct.
Right? So what happens when you have a judgment token now in 10th edition, it goes back to where you were in 9th edition when you were shooting.
Yeah.
Now again, right, we've already looked at Tau, we've looked at Orks who have all kind of come down a step and they've kind of been reduced in strength and power. And it looks like Votann have had a similar treatment, although we have also discussed that Necron's probably not so badly affected by that. So I'm not against the fact that they're going to be reduced and then these judgment tokens then bring them back up to where they were.
Yeah.
That's kind of okay. However, the problem I have with it is the only way this says you get judgment tokens is by your shit dying.
Yup.
Right?
Before it was too easy. It was like, oh, you shoot me, you take an action, you think about doing anything, you breathe, I'm going to put a judgment token. It was like too permissive. But now it's the opposite direction. You need your stuff to die.
Yeah.
That sucks.
And so that was still a condition previously, but you used to pick an enemy unit at the end of their turn who was in range of an objective marker and give them a judgment token.
Exactly.
Your Carls used to give out judgment tokens.
Yeah.
If they did an action,
they
any
might
kind of
still
action.
do that.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I kind of love the narrative behind grudge tokens, but the fact that you essentially have to sacrifice your own. So this is Bridger's problem with it. I've spoken to Bridger about this, and Bridger's problem with it is you have to sacrifice your own units for your army rule to work.
It's brutal. And it also doesn't stack with all the heavy weapons, too.
It doesn't because it's +1 to hit.
Sucks.
So this would be significantly better if that wasn't +1 to hit, but it was increased the ballistic skill by 1. Like
better.
the Guard Order, for example.
That
That would have then been a significantly more impactful change, I feel like.
Exactly.
So the detachment rule, Oathbound, Ruthless Efficiency, okay. At the start of the battle, select 1 unit from your opponent's army. That unit starts the battle with 2 judgment tokens.
Right.
If at the start of any of your command phases that enemy unit is destroyed, you gain a number of CP depending on how early in the battle you destroyed it, as shown below. Okay. You'll see you only gain CP in this way once per battle, and CP gain in this way is an exemption to the core rules that limits the maximum number of CP you gain by 1. So if you kill it in the first, second command phase, you get 3 CP. If the unit's destroyed, at the start of your first, second command phase, you get 3 CP. If you use destroyed at the start of your 3rd or 4th, you get 2 CP. If you use destroyed at the start of your 5th, you gain 1 CP.
What is this?
It's fucking terrible.
Yeah, you're like very off camera now. When you turn your head, it's like just a big ball. Oh. Ah!
It's the Matrix. Yeah. So
I hate it. You put this on a tiny unit that they don't care about and they hide it. You put it on a big unit, it's probably hard to kill.
So it depends on what your goal is here. So I think if your goal here is to get those command points, forget it. Like this part of the rule right now, I'd completely forget it. I would just take it as 2 free judgment tokens as a detachment rule. There is a bonus that if you do kill that unit, you get command points. For me, you should treat that as a bonus and not the target. Okay. So if I'm playing against a player with a super heavy, or I'm playing against someone with something super tough, I might go, you know what? I want to just put grudge tokens on that unit straight away anyway, because I want to maximise my efficiency into that unit because I need to make sure that unit's going to die.
Yeah.
It's still not the strongest though.
Yeah.
It's like it doesn't come close to. Here's the other thing as well. When you compare,
no, don't do it.
You know what I'm about to say, right?
Don't do it.
When you compare and contrast against other rules for other factions, like let's take this. Okay, so you get grudge tokens if you kill things, and I get +1 to hit or +1 to wound with my whole army against the one unit that's been killing things, right? And I also get to pick one unit and put +1 to hit and +1 to wound on you permanently. Yeah. Cool, and that's my whole army rules. And I've got like 12 data sheets, and they've all got Ballistic Skill 4 now, and they've just flat got worse. Or I play Oath of Moment, and I get full rerolls to hit and wound against any target I choose. Doesn't have to have killed anything.
Yeah.
And I also get the ability to once per game advance and shoot, once per game advance and charge, and once per game fullback shoot and or charge.
It's not quite the same, is
There's
it?
just no.
Yeah. Yeah.
With a whole army that's Ballistic Skill 3+ or better.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. Like, there's just no comparison. So when you watch the Art of War grading system and you look at the fact that they stick Votann basically in the category all by themselves, only because they're not quite as shit as Admech and Death Guard, you go, I actually understand it.
Yep.
This army rule is trash.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's fundamentally flawed. Which sucks, because it's such a cool faction, and I really want to play it.
Yeah, it sucks. It just sucks. I got to a point during 9th edition where I was enjoying Votann. I quite liked Votann. I have a Votann army. The studio has a Votann army back at home. This sucks. This is just bad. Yeah. It's just not a good rule. And your stuff has to die before you get any kind of bonus, and then that bonus is flat worse than, for example, Space Marines. I don't like it.
It's ridiculous. So it makes me very sad.
Yeah, it does. Okay, maybe they can pull it back with some strats and some enhancements.
Ooh, let's take a look. Warrior Pride, Space Wolf stuff going on here. This is a 1 CP strat in the fight phase. 1 Leagues of Votann unit from your army, and 1 enemy unit gets selected. The enemy unit has to have at least 1 judgment token and be in engagement range of the Votann. What happens? At the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit makes a melee attack, you get +1 AP for each judgment token that enemy unit has.
Hate it. You know why?
Because Necrons had one for +1 AP and +1 strength with like no requirements.
With no requirements. So this one is already a restrictive stratagem because you can only target an enemy unit, right, that's in engagement range that already has a judgment token on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
no, yeah, you're right. No.
So we talked about the Ork stratagems, where some of them are restrictive because you require a unit to blow up on a 6.
Yeah.
This is kind of the same.
It's kind of the same
right,
thing.
You have to fulfill a number of criteria before you can actually trigger this 1 CP stratagem, and all you get normally for this will be 1 CP. You'll get 1 AP, maybe +2 AP.
So bad.
And the other reason why I'm not super into it is melee stratagem. This army mostly wants to be shooting anyway.
Yeah, that's a great point.
It's not incredible.
Don't love it.
No. Ancestral Sentence. Target a Leagues of Votann unit from your army in your shooting phase. Until the end of the phase, each time a model in that unit makes a ranged attack, that attack has the Sustained Hits 1 ability, and each time a model in your unit makes a ranged attack that targets a unit with has 1 or more judgment tokens, that attack has Sustained Hits 2 ability instead. Much better strategy.
This is much better.
So 1 CP you can use it on anything anytime you want, and you get Sustained Hits 1.
Yeah.
Into it, love it.
Totally fine.
If you target something with a judgment token, the bonus is you get Sustained Hits 2. It's 1 CP. This is where the other one should be.
Yeah. The strats should be, the baseline is good.
Yeah.
And then if you meet the second criteria, it goes bonkers.
So here's how I change Warrior Pride.
Yeah.
Right, you spend 1 CP, you get +1 AP.
Yep.
If it's got a Judgment token, you get +2 AP.
Yep.
It's the same thing. Why they did these two things differently, I don't know.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's because one's fight phase.
Because logically, if you take the kind of logic between Warrior Pride and you actually apply that to Ancestral, you go, hey, you pick an enemy with a Judgment token and you get sustain hits 1, and if it's got 2 Judgment tokens, you get sustain hits 2. But for some reason, this one doesn't require you to. Anyway, I don't know why the first one's worded the way it is. It's trash.
It's very dumb. Ordered retreat 1 command point in your movement phase after you fall back. That unit may shoot and still charge. Awesome.
That's cool. Good strat.
Great
Nicely doing
strat.
it, like that one.
Fantastic.
Reactive reprisal for 2. Okay, we're getting expensive in the CP cost now. In your opponent's shooting phase, just after an enemy unit has 1 or more Judgment tokens, has resolved its attacks. So an enemy unit has shot at you and has a Judgment token already.
And you pay 2 CP.
And it's 2 CP.
What do you get to do then?
Targeted Leagues of Votann unit from your army that was selected as the target of 1 or more of the attacking unit's attacks. Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
Your Leagues of Votann unit can shoot as if your shooting phase, but must target the enemy unit that just attacked it, and can only do so if that enemy unit is an eligible target. Hang on a minute. Didn't we already see the stratagem for a different faction?
We did.
Didn't require it to have something like a Judgment token on it already.
Yeah, you just did it. Amazing.
So the one we saw previously, which I think was Necrons, it was Necrons actually,
Yeah.
was if a model died.
Correct. So this one you don't have to die for. Oh, wait.
What do you do?
Because someone has to have
A
died
whole
in the past.
unit has to have died.
Yeah. Why? James!
I don't know why he's doing it.
Ah!
I think he's just still really sore about the backlash of Votann in 9th edition. Yeah, okay.
I hate it when this happens.
Let's not spend too much time on this one.
all right.
Right, we've got 2 more stratagems.
All right, let's take a look. Newfound Nemesis. This sounds promising. 1 command point in your opponent's shooting phase or the fight phase, so either or, just after an enemy unit has resolved its attacks. Okay. You pick 1 Leagues of Votann infantry or 1 Leagues of Votann mounted, so the bikes, from your army that was reduced to below half strength. So you have to, okay. The attacking unit gains a Judgment token or up to 2 Judgment tokens instead if that Leagues of Votann unit contained your Warlord when it was targeted by those attacks. Like, why?
You're getting access to Judgment tokens without losing the whole unit.
Correct.
Which is okay. But you take a unit of 10 Hearthkin Warriors, he's killing you down to 4 guys remaining. You take a unit of 6 bikes, he's killing you down to 2 bikes remaining, before you then have to spend a CP just to get a Judgment token.
Can you even take bikes in 4s? Aren't they 3s?
3s and 6s, yeah. So if you take 6, you have to get them down to 2, because
Right.
it's below half strength.
And if you take 3, you have to lose down to 1.
Yeah.
Which is a very fine line.
At that point, yeah.
So it sucks because it has to exist, but you will use a strat. It will be a useful strat in your army because it's going to help you make up for the vast deficiencies that you have. But it sucks that this even has to exist.
Yet again, you have to spend a CP to just get access to an army benefit which is already dog shit.
Yep.
Right? And the only way you can use that CP is if you're losing models.
It makes me so sad.
And then we move on to Void Armor, 1 CP in your opponent's shooting phase or fight phase just after the enemy unit has selected its target. Oh, hang on. So far, nothing has to have died. That's a good start.
Yeah.
1 Leagues of Votann unit from your army that was selected as a target of 1 or more enemy units attacks, right, until the end of the phase. Each time an attack targets the Votann, you worsen the armor. It's
Okay.
Armor of Contempt.
It's Armor Contempt. I was like, so I saw the end, I was like, oh, it's Armor Contempt. What are we going to have to do? We have to like kill the Warlord.
No, we just have Armor of Contempt.
That's good. That's a great strat.
So we're talking like
That's good.
2 good, 1 average strat, and then a couple of, like 3 really bad ones. I don't love it.
Just makes me sad, honestly.
Yeah. So enhancements, maybe that'll save the day.
Yeah, we're going to pull it back. We're going to pull it back. Here we go.
Things you have to pay points for.
Appraising Glare.
Yeah.
Sounds fun. Obviously on a Leagues of Votann model. In your command phase, you can select 1 objective marker your opponent controls. Already don't love it. Until the end of that phase, while an enemy unit is within range of that objective marker, it counts as having 1 more Judgment token than it actually has. To maximum of 2. This is good.
Not a bad enhancement here.
Yeah, no, this is good. There's
Because
no
this
range.
is a way of giving out even just 1 Judgment token without having to spend CP or have stuff die, right?
Yeah.
So, and again, if you, let's say you can draw line of sight to your opponent's objective marker, and he's got 6 units on it, and you spend that 1 CP, not that 1 CP, you take that 1 Appraising Glare enhancement, okay? And everything in range of it then counts as having a Judgment token, much, much better. Most important thing here that some people have been missing, you do not need line of sight to that objective. You just pick one.
Yes. Yeah, no
Really
range, no
good.
line of sight.
Yeah.
This is awesome. You're going to take this every time.
Yeah, this is a really good enhancement for
Yeah.
Votann. This is I think Votann need this enhancement in their list, if I'm honest with you.
100%.
Okay, we'll go Grim Demeanor. We'll go right this time. Leagues of Votann model only. You can re-roll battle shock tests taken for the bearer's unit, and models in that unit can ignore any or all modifiers to their characteristics and or to any rolls or tests made for them, excluding modifiers to saving throws. It's actually a big deal when you think about it.
This is very strong.
Because this is stopping all modifiers to everything. Mm-hmm. Like ballistic skill,
movement.
Yeah, this is clutch. This is a good enhancement.
This is something that makes Custodies so strong. Is Trajan has access to this on a big squad, and I see you doing the same thing here. You take this and you put it on a unit of Hearthguard, and they can't. Their slow movement can't be slowed further. They're going to be even more durable.
Yeah.
This is great. Very, very strong.
Yeah, it's not a bad enhancement at all. I like it.
A long list of groceries. Each time the bear's unit destroys an enemy unit, if that enemy unit has one or more judgment tokens, you can select one other enemy unit that's visible, and they gain a judgment token. So you're basically passing on the grudge. It's like, all right, we're done with you. You're next.
So, okay, again, we're able to bounce judgment tokens here without having to lose units. Yeah. That's a good thing.
It's good.
Carl's had this. Just had it.
Well, they didn't even have to bounce.
Ulthar the Destined, I think, just had it.
Really?
No, I think there was abilities before. There was definitely abilities before where you just bounce judgment tokens away.
Okay.
Right?
Again, it's good, but it's unfortunate that it has to exist because it's just trying to make the basic ability exist. You know,
it's not a bad enhancement to take. I like it.
Relatively speaking.
Because potentially you have the opportunity, and there's no range on this. It just has to be visible. Okay. So
well, bearer's unit has to kill a unit, and then you have to see the next one.
So the bearer destroys an enemy unit. If that enemy unit had a judgment token, you can select one other enemy unit that is visible to the bearer. Okay? But there's no range on that.
Yeah.
So that's nice,
Yeah.
because the range would have made it too restrictive, and then I think you just don't take it because there's too many layers that you have. There's too many Swiss cheese model. You have to get all the holes lined up before it works.
Right.
This isn't too bad. So you could be, and it doesn't require you to be killing them by melee or shooting. So I think it's an okay enhancement. But again, you're now paying points, literally paying extra points to just try and get your core ability to be more efficient. Not sold.
Yeah. It's like acknowledging the problems in the army.
Yeah. Wayfarer's Grace, Leagues of Votann model only. The first time the bearer is destroyed, after placing a judgment token next to the unit that destroyed it, roll 1d6 at the end of that phase. On a 2+, set the bearer back up on the battlefield as close as possible to where it was destroyed and not within engagement range of enemy units, with its full wounds remaining.
That's awesome.
It's not bad.
I'd have to see the characters that you could put it on. The other three feel like also auto-includes. So it's tough because this helps, again, one model.
When you think that they basically took the E-Champ and then took him to the doctors and castrated him, the Carls are okay.
Yeah.
I would probably prefer the other three.
This is a very powerful enhancement on a different army.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
I think you take the other three.
Yeah. Okay. So data sheet wise for Leagues of Votann, right? They have been wildly toned down across the board. There's some cool stuff. Hearthguard are a must. You need Hearthguard to make Leagues of Votann work, I think now, because they have had such a toning down. They've lost ballistic skill across the board. They've lost weapon skill. They've lost all kinds. Okay.
Yeah.
They've lost range. It's
rough.
It's rough.
Woof.
It's rough. Yeah, they're not the best.
Yeah.
They're okay. I think they're going to be. If we segregate out Admac and Death Guard because they were clearly written by a different individual who probably doesn't even work at the company at this rate, because they're so bad. If we take them out and we go back to our tier list, which we haven't really been talking about all the way through, we had S, A, B, C, D, so 1 to 5, and we said that we're putting Tau top 4, bottom 3. Okay, we then Orks. Where would you place Orks roughly?
Wait, is it top 4, bottom 3? What are you saying?
So
how many slots are there?
We have S, A, B, C, D. So if we go S is 1 and D is 5, we said that Tau is bottom of 3, top of 4. Okay, so they're between C and D. If we've got S, A, B, C, F.
Yeah.
Right, between B and C.
Why did you make a new grading system?
I don't know why. I'm being different. Go with it, chat. Go with it, right?
Just use the letters. Okay.
So
I put them in your 3, which is B.
B tier. Yeah. Okay. S, A, B, C, F. It makes sense. S for special, F for failure, A, B, and C is the average. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Makes sense.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So you're going to put Orks in B. Cool.
Yeah.
Necrons, for me, are going into roughly around A tier.
Yeah, I would put them in.
Bottom of A, top of B, probably A tier,
Yeah.
right? Votann, I mean, they're bottom of C, maybe even F.
Correct, yeah.
If you remove Admech and Death Guard, who are complete anomalies in this particular edition, then you place, for me, Votann bottom of the table.
I agree.
Which is a shame.
It is.
Because it's a new release.
Yeah.
But they get a codex, maybe they're going to get some new units. That'd be cool,
Nice.
and then maybe
That'd be
we can pick them up a little bit. But at the moment, I'm sorry, it's not looking good for Votann players. Right. Oh my God, you people.
Too generous. Stop it.
Okay, I mean, so this is where we stopped last time.
Oh my God. This is wild.
Making my life
Thank you,
really
everyone.
hard. I will give some membership shout outs quickly.
Yeah.
Nordos gifted another membership. You're amazing. Thank you. I love you so much.
Legend.
Right? Noodle Basket became a Haskell tier.
Ooh.
Behind the scenes content. Amazing. I think the most recent one I posted in behind the scenes was when I was sat on the producers area looking at the streams on the weekend, which is cool. Blood of Kittens, thank you for becoming a member at Haskell tier. You legend. You can come and join us in Discord. Nordos, we covered you twice. Levy, thank you for becoming a Skull tier. Resident Rumdreaker upgraded to Jarl. The Jarl's only giveaway is live in Discord. And then Jonas became a Hesir. Thank you so much, you beautiful people, for all becoming members of the channel.
Love it.
It's an incredible way to support us, especially if you choose to become a member all by yourself. It's very important because that small recurring payment that probably to most of you doesn't mean a lot means the world to us when we have 100, 200 people doing it. It makes a massive difference, so thank you so much. If you've been gifted a membership, you can still upgrade. So if you've been gifted a membership at Skull tier, you can upgrade to Jarl for just £4 more UK. It's about $5 roughly if you're in the US. And that gives you access to our giveaway, which is monthly. Every month we give away one box to one person, okay? Anyway, hi Torian, thank you for the 10. 2K Eldari list. Cool, you win.
Good review.
Yeah.
That's good.
2K Eldari pretending to be knights, 3 times 10 Wraith Blades with axes, 2 Spirit Seers, 1 Wraith Knight, 3 Wraith Lords, Bright Lance Glaive, Wraith Cannons or Shield Glaive for Knight. I don't know if you can still do this in 10th edition. You definitely could in 9th, and I would be very surprised if you take it away. My favourite loadout in 9th edition was the sword and the cannon.
Oh, what the heck?
Well, they gained a base
You
5 up
weirdo.
invulnerable save in 9th. So
Yeah.
you didn't need to take the shield for the 4 up invulnerable save.
Yeah.
You take the sword for the incredible melee,
Yeah.
and you take the Wraith Cannon because the Wraith Cannon was just flat good.
That's super cute.
I'll have to have a quick glance now to see.
Yeah,
the
see
rest
if
of it, though,
possible.
is essentially Eandon.
Yeah.
And so I love it because
So cool.
I think that the Wraith stuff isn't the most powerful in the book as well. So actually, I take it back. You don't necessarily also win with that list. Specifically, the Eldar are incredible right now.
The Wraith Knights are incredible.
So the heavy Wraith Cannon is a blast weapon with a 36-inch range, D3 shots, hitting on 3, strength 20, AP -4, 2d6 damage with devastating wounds. Not forgetting, you have fate dice.
Yeah, that unit is a problem, for
That
sure.
is mad.
And then
mad
Ziva,
good.
Spirit Seers?
And the melee weapon, Titanic Ghost Glaive, right, is either 5 or 15 attacks, hitting on 3s, either strength 16 or strength 8, AP -3 or AP -2, flat 6 damage or flat 2 damage. That's why I would take a sword and a cannon.
Wait, do they have stomping feet, or is it only with if you have
The melee weapons, the other thing they have is Titanic Feet, 5 attacks, hitting on 3, strength 8, -1, 2 damage. Still not bad.
Not bad.
Still not bad at all. War gear options. The model's Titanic Ghost Glaive can be replaced with one of the following: Wraith Cannon, Sun Cannon. The Scatter Shield can be replaced with 1 heavy Wraith Cannon, and it can be equipped with shoulder guns. So yeah, I would drop the Scatter Shield probably and give it a Wraith Cannon. Although it doesn't have a base invulnerable save anymore. That went away again. They gave it to it in 9th, took it away
I
again.
noticed that.
It's agile, of course it is, and it is -1 damage.
It's -1 damage.
-1 damage at 18 wounds, toughness 12 of a 2-up armor save.
They're so good. They are definitely gonna be a problem
They're
unit.
really good.
I'm torn on the shield or not. I think you don't necessarily need the shield if you're not if you have a different unit that can benefit from fortune. I don't know if you have the fortune unit here, but that's usually the way I would look at it. You have other units that can certainly benefit from those like defensive buffs, so that might be a reason to keep the shield. I don't know. Yeah.
It's 370 points.
It's real dumb. Yep.
What?
Yeah, people are taking 3.
Oh my god.
Yup.
300. That's a problem. That's a problem. So in answer to your question, take whatever you want. It's good. They're all good.
Yeah, it's good. It's very strong.
I like the cannon and sword still, but
Double K. Oh,
have
sorry,
you noticed
guys.
as well in that particular loadout you can take the Wraith Cannon and a shield now.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah. So Wraith Cannon and Shield if you want them to be more durable, or just double cannon if you just want to choose violence, you know? I think it depends.
Well, not forgetting that toughness 12 with a 2-up armor save and 18 wounds is incredibly durable.
Still already durable, yeah. Right? They have Race Seer? Race Seer?
Yeah, there's a Race Seer in it. Oh no, there's 2 Spirits here, there's no Race Seer. One Wraith Knight, 3 Wraith Lords.
Okay.
Bright Lance and Glaive. Oh my god, that knight's going to be incredible. I love it. Yeah. I love it. Cool. Do it. I love it. It's fun. It's cool. Mike, thank you for the 10. Just want to celebrate Necrons feeling like Necrons for the first time since I started in 8th edition. Super tanky and hard to keep down with less killing power and speed to compensate for balance. I think Necrons is a good job. That's a book where I'm like, good job, GW. I like it. I'm a fan. Okay. Right, Benjamin, thank you for the 350. If Doomstalkers came in squads, I'd spam.
I know, right? I was like, wait. Overwatch on 5s, can we take more than one? No, it turns out.
Oh my god, more's coming through. Kyrio, thank you for gifting the membership. Kenneth, thank you for becoming a Jarl tier member. Get yourself in that giveaway straight away, man. What a legend. And welcome to Kirioth. Kirioth is a whole other channel who does amazing Talking Heads content. Yeah. Recently completely revamped his schedule. I'm going to say this now whilst there's still 830 people watching. Recently revamped his schedule. He's now sticking out a ton of regular content. And last week he dropped a podcast, which is the start of a new series of podcasts. And the reason why I'm shouting about that one is because I was in it.
In it.
So go and check out that. Why am I now doing that? Go and check out that podcast. It was super fun. I really enjoyed it. John's a lovely guy, and go and support him as well. He's revamped everything. He's trying to increase his membership numbers as well, because we want to keep giving you, all of us people, all of these creators in this space, want to keep giving you guys amazing, entertaining content. I really enjoyed that podcast. I think it's fun. It gets worse because the second episode came out and Mikey's in it, but you know.
Oof, that's rough.
It's rough, right? Exactly. Yeah. And now I think of the 10. Reanimation on Votann is insanely good, especially with a reanimator. Went from 3 to 10 wounds in one battle round. Also, the Sovereign Coronal Enhancement giving Doomsday Arcs and other vehicles in 6-inch also seems really good.
Yeah,
There's
right.
both mad things.
So good.
They're both mad things, but very Necron.
Yeah.
I like it.
It's cool.
Thank you for the 10. Faith Daydreamer, thank you for the 5. Demonifuge, 2 times Crusader, 2 times Battle Sister, 2 times 10 Battle Sister Squad, 4 times Immolators, 3 Exorcists, 3 Paragon Warsuits. Immolators can combat squad units. They can, yeah.
They can?
Yeah, they can, yeah.
Oh, let's go. Wait, what?
Did you not?
Really?
Yeah.
I totally missed that. That changes everything.
Yeah.
That changes everything, Liam. Oh my god.
So you can then MSU Sisters.
Yes. Immolators, I called it. It's happening. Oh my god. Okay, I need to go home. I need to go build these. Oh, I'm so excited.
This model has a transport capacity of 6 Adeptus Sororitas infantry models. It cannot transport jump pack models or the Triumph of St. Catherine. At the start of the declared battle formation step, you can select 1 Battle Sister Squad, Dominion Squad, or Sisters Novitiate Squad from your army. If you do, that unit is split into 2 units, each containing an equal number of models as possible. When splitting a unit's way, make note of which models from each of the 2 new units. One of these units must start the battle embarked within this transport. The other can start the battle embarked within another transport, or it can be deployed as a separate unit.
This makes me very happy. Dominions with the Stormbolter, their special Dominion Stormbolters, getting the rerolls from it, from the Immolator.
Immolator, don't forget, it also has the Immolator Flamers, which is a 2d6, 18-inch ignores cover torrent, strength 6 -1, 1 damage weapon with the new Overwatch is pretty clutch. Immolators are good.
I am so excited.
I kept saying Immolators the other day, and no one listened to me. I was like, oh, maybe I'm just wrong.
So again, I wasn't here for that conversation, but I've been part of other sisters conversations on our channel where people were like, oh, I don't know. And I was like, always caveat, have not done the research yet. Yeah. So, oh my god, I totally missed that. So
2 times 10 Battle Sisters in 4 Immolators is 4 units of 5 Battle Sisters.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Which is cool.
Amazing.
I like it. I'm into
Amazing.
It. Thank you for Face Daydreamer. Thank you for banging the Immolator drum. You got me. I got you. You're amazing. Thank you for the 5, Hytorian. Necrons have a lot of fly. What do you think of Space Marine Hunter Stalkers against them? Because they get bonuses against fly, like anti-fly.
Yeah, they're anti-fly, which is funny.
I don't think fly is dead. There's a lot of doomsaying about fly right now. Fly has got worse. It just has got worse.
But it had to. 8th edition, it was the strongest keyword in the game by a country mile.
Yep.
9th edition, it was still the strongest keyword by a country mile. And now they've reined it back, which is good.
So for me, the way I look at fly now is no longer just a way to negate terrain, which I think is positive. It's now a way to negate things like other units.
Yes.
Okay, so I can leap over an enemy unit now. Normally that vertical distance I'm going to have to measure isn't as bad as the ruins that Adrian put on the table on Saturday just to stop Angron, for example. Okay, are you bringing Angron? Yeah. Okay, we're going to use these ruins.
Yeah.
Right. That's how it happened, right?
It's true.
So I still think fly's really, really key, and I still think we'll see a ton of fly in the edition.
Yeah.
So anything that has anti-fly is going to be good. So yeah, I go for it. I think it's good.
Yeah.
Stick Monkey thing with a 10. Pa Chow, super chat robot voice, late to the party tonight, but popped in to say hi. I'm sorry, man. I know you dropped the 10 for the super chat voice. I turned it off, and I'll be honest with you, I'm glad I turned it off.
It would have been a mess.
We would have been a mess. Crumpets Band, thank you for the 10. One of my favourite early techs is the Chaos Demons Prince with wings, souped into Chaos armies. He feels cheap, powerful, and independently good. Was great in Death Guard. Yeah, he's a good unit.
He's awesome. This is the belly flop one, maybe?
I think so, yeah.
So cool.
The one with the wings, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, cool. Let's jump into. Oh, for Christ's sake. Okay, let's jump back into the next codex, Adrian, because we're running out of time.
We are.
We're going to have to do multiple streams.
Yeah, we will. It's going to be a good time. It's all good.
I'm going to get loads of extra content out of you guys.
Yeah. Oh. Time for Liam's favorite faction. Oh, the Genestealer Cults. Let's go.
So, to add a caveat here, chat, right, Genestealer Cults is 10th edition if you're cheating.
Yep. Legally cheating. I love this faction.
So, Cart Ambush, do you want to explain it to us rather than read it out?
Yeah.
You kind of know how it works, right?
I don't. Yeah, I hope so. All right, so Cult Ambush. This is the army rule. So all future GSE detachments will have this built in. Basically, every time one of your units dies, that is largely not a character and not a vehicle, you can make a Cult Ambush rule. On a 4+, or guaranteed if you're battle line, you get to place a blip. And this blip can be placed anywhere on the battlefield, 9 inches away from enemy units. Blip. Then, at the end of your opponent's reinforcement step, those blips, sorry. Yeah, I'll say this. Those blips can be replaced with a unit that died earlier, one of these eligible units. And you come in from deep strike, just touching the blip 9 inches away. Very powerful. The way your opponent stops it is, if you move within 9 of a blip, you're going to destroy it.
Yeah.
So that is the counterplay in theory. So very strong, very powerful. Immediately you're like, cool, battle line better be awesome because they guarantee come back. Everything else, it's going to have to really work for it. So they've got that. Incredibly strong. We'll talk more about that in a bit.
I'm a fan of it.
Brood Brothers still exists. I think they've done it pretty elegantly. They don't join the detachment. It's just in a 2,000 point game, you can have up to 500 points of guard units, excluding the list that you see here. I haven't played with it too much. There might be some cute things with like Scout Sentinels and stuff like that, but not too much on that just yet.
So you don't get any of the guard faction bonus.
Correct.
You don't get any of the. You'll get orders and stuff like. No, you won't get orders because you don't get the faction bonus.
You don't get strats.
But hey, how do you feel about 500 points? You can chuck in. This is an interesting thing, by the way. If you thought about this.
Basilisks.
Basilisks.
Yes, that's probably the most compelling thing.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of guard stuff that will do kind of the same thing as your GSC, but almost worse. Indirect is something that they don't have, really.
I'd be interested to see if you can get in a number of Basilisks and some Scout Sentinels to ignore that -1 for indirect.
Oh, so that's just on the sheets.
It's on the Scout Sentinel data sheet.
That's pretty cute.
Yeah, it's really good.
I like it a lot. Although you do get a lot of benefit to running pure GSC because of these other abilities that we're gonna talk about.
Okay. But you still get these abilities if you soup in guard, right?
Yeah, but I guess
you get less use out of it because you've got less units.
Yeah, I guess let's talk about this a bit right now. Yeah, you get less use out of it, and there's a lot of redundancies that happen, right? So when you bring in when you replace a blip, it's any of those eligible units. You don't have to have rolled for them this turn or whatever, so you get a lot more flexibility.
Yep.
The more units you have, obviously you're cycling more units, so there's the chance otherwise that you could actually not have blips when you need them because you're spending 500 points on guard. So there's stuff like that. So they really incentivize you to lean in on the blips, which is good. I like that. Blips are awesome.
Yeah, they are.
And you deploy like a normal army finally, which is great for your opponent too. It's going to speed up the game.
Yeah, I loved the narrative concept behind the blips in the previous editions, but I hated playing against it.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
This is a much more elegant solution. So this is the detachment ability for, what's it called? The Ascension Day. I love it. They came from below. Ascension Day! Basically, whenever you bring in a Genestealer Cults unit from reserve, so it could be deep strike, it could be strategic,
yep.
They gain sustained hits 1 and ignore cover in shooting and fighting. Obviously, ignore cover doesn't work in melee,
yeah,
but it's cute. We actually did use the sustained in melee. This is a very strong ability, given some of the strats we will see. Sustained hits is always, always strong, and ignore cover for a shooting army is mandatory because cover is so prevalent in 10th edition.
Yeah.
That's that.
Cool.
Let's talk about some strats, and this is where we really see how these abilities start to tick. Unquestioning Loyalty. You want to read this one, Liam? This is the strat I wanted to use against you.
So in my opponent's shooting phase or the fight phase, just our enemy unit has selected its targets. One Genestealer Cult character unit from your army that was selected as the target of one or more of that enemy unit's attacks until the end of the phase. Each time a character model from your unit would lose a wound, select one friendly Genestealer Cult unit within 3 inches of it, excluding vehicle units, and your character model does not lose that wound. Instead, that selected unit suffers 1 mortal wound instead.
Very strong.
So my master executions with precision, when he rocked up to that 20-man brick with 2 characters and decapitated both of them, if you'd have had 1 CP, both those characters live, I don't score 8 points.
Yep.
That's huge.
Huge.
Yeah, really good.
It's amazing, amazing, amazing. And it's basically a guarantee to save a character. It's awesome.
Yeah, it is good.
Coordinated Trap. This is an expensive strat. It's 2 command points, technically. And use this in the start of your shooting phase or the start of the fight phase.
Technically.
Exactly. You know what? We need to keep an eye on this because it is the start of the phase. And I think it didn't really matter in our games, but that's an important distinction.
Yeah, okay.
So you target 2 Genestealer Cults units that have not selected to shoot or fight yet, and 1 enemy unit. Basically, those 2 units can only target that enemy unit, but they both get +1 to wound. Expensive, but strong. And this is an army that's about bringing in big bricks, multiple big bricks, and focusing down targets when you need to.
It is expensive, but as we discussed, there is ways to mitigate the expense and get multiple uses out of it as well.
Which
is clutch.
We'll get to when we get to the enhancements.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Coordinated Trap, expensive, but strong.
Yeah, I like it.
And it's they don't have a lot of tank busting, like per se, unless you spam mining lasers.
Yeah.
So this makes your size mix interesting.
Yeah, so tunnel crawlers. In your movement phase, 1 cult unit from your army arriving via the deep strike ability. Your unit can be set up anywhere on the battlefield that's more than 3 inches horizontally away from enemy models instead of the normal 9, obviously.
Yeah.
Unit cannot be targeted by the stratagem. So unit targeted by the stratagem is not able to declare a charge, because that'd be crazy.
That would be crazy.
Right?
That'd be good.
This is a really clutch stratagem, because if you think about the fact that everything in the book basically has deep strike, you can have battle line units in deep strike with OC higher than me. You can drop within 3 beyond an objective and just take it from me.
You can drop in 20 OC2 bodies and just grab an objective and shoot, too.
Really good strat.
Which, it's an amazing strat.
It's a really good strat.
It's so strong.
Yeah, I like it.
One with the Darkness. This is a stratagem that is good. It's not the one I was thinking. I was thinking Return to the Shadows. It's a good strat. 1 CP. When in your opponent's shooting phase, just after an enemy unit has selected its targets, you select an infantry GSC squad that's been targeted. That unit gains the stealth ability, and they can't be shot at beyond 12 inches.
Really good.
Incredibly strong.
Yeah.
So if they're beyond 12, can't even be targeted at all. Even if they are within 12, you can still make a -1 to be hit against range attacks. Crazy strong ability.
Yeah. So what's interesting in this particular stratagem as well?
Yeah, I know.
Right? Are you ready to hear what I'm about to say about this one?
Yeah.
So we see a previous one where, with a towel, for example, you declare me as the charge of the charge. I get back in my transport, and then specifically stated you can pick a second target.
Right?
This does not have same wording.
I think we should reach out to some folks that we know and ask if that's. Are you sure you want to do this?
I'm 99% sure that rules as intended will be that the enemy unit can then select a different target for their shooting.
Correct.
I almost guarantee that will be the case. It might even be covered in the 843 page clarification. But as it stands currently, you select me as the target of a shoot.
I say nope.
And I'm 13 inches away, or I select you as a target of a shooting attack, and you're 13 inches away. You spend 1 CP, my unit doesn't shoot.
Yeah.
That rules is written.
As written, that's what it says.
That's how it currently works.
That's what it says.
Right? That's, I don't think that's as intended. It might be in that clarification document. I won't lie to you people. It's 18 pages. And I've read it 3 or 4 times, and every time I've read it, I've found something new out in that document.
Yeah.
So maybe it's covered in there. I don't know.
Right. Perfect ambush. What does that do?
1 CP in your shooting phase, Adrian. 1 Genestealer Cult unit from your army that has arrived from reserves this turn has not been selected to shoot this phase, and until the end of the phase, you can improve your BS. And as we saw on Saturday, there's a lot of BS.
There's a lot of BS going on in this army.
And armor penetration characters with ranged weapons equipped by models in your army by 1. I mean, this is almost an auto take if you're bringing something in from reserve.
Yeah.
You hit better, you get better AP.
It's
1
huge.
CP. It's massive. It's really good.
You know, you are bringing in this again. This is really, in many ways, Codex Neophytes.
Yeah.
The seismics and the mining lasers, which you'll take 4 in your 20 mans, which you will take, are all heavy, and they've given them the treatment where they basically are -1 BS. So they're now hitting on 5s and have heavy. So you have to not move to be hitting on 4s. So coming in, hitting on 4s with exploding, with his sustained hits, Amazing.
She says it's and ignores cover.
Yeah.
And better AP, which is like double better AP.
Exactly. It is like double better AP. And when you take Ridge Runners with Crossfire, you can get another AP. So you're basically getting, what, plus 4 AP, essentially.
Yeah, and let's not forget as well, right? AP does stack. So when we talk about you can't get better than +1 to hit and you can't get better than +1 to wound, AP does stack. Yeah. So 3 + 4 AP, big deal. Really, really big deal. Okay.
Now this last stratagem is, for me, the one that truly transformed the army once we started playing it. 1 CP at the end of your opponent's turn.
You can uppy downy.
You can uppy downy with 2 battle line or 1 other.
Battle line units.
Which again, this is a battle line codex. You're gonna fight tons of neophytes.
So when we talk about uppy downy, what do we mean? You remove them from the battlefield, right?
Yep.
And then you place them into strategic reserves. And they're Genestealer Cults in strategic reserves.
Which means you can put them into deep strike.
Or come on any edge of the battlefield.
It's so good.
It's mad.
And come in next turn.
Yeah.
So the reason this is so strong, there's a few reasons. Obviously, this army wants to come in from reserve and get these sustained hits and they ignore cover. In the past, in 9th edition, you similarly wanted to come in from reserve.
Yeah.
But you kind of reached a point where you've used all your deep strikes. You can't do anymore. But with this ability, you're constantly recycling them. Amazing. It gets stronger when you think about the way that you want to play your blips, right?
Yeah.
The blips can get destroyed when your opponent moves within 9 of them, which means, okay, if you want to keep them safe, you need to play conservatively. Hide them in the very back of the board where your opponent can't reach them. Downside, they're going to be out of position. They're not going to reach any interesting targets. With this strat, however, you put them in at the end of your opponent's movement phase. At the end of their turn, you pick them up, and then in your turn, you bring them down anyways. So it didn't matter where they were when they spawned, because they're deep striking 9 inches away anywhere on the battlefield. So you get your cake, and you get to eat it too.
And it's mad because 1 CP, you can do it with 2 battle line units.
That's so strong.
The one thing I do like about the restriction is it specifically states you cannot do that if they're in engagement range, which I think narratively is cool.
Yes.
So if I've tagged you in melee, you then can't.
Exactly. You've like caught them.
Yeah, that's cool. And I kind of like that. If they didn't have that restriction, that strat is just flat busted.
Yeah.
With the restriction, it's still incredibly good for 1 CP. When I read it and it said you can pick up 2 battle line units, I assumed it'd be 2 CP.
Yeah, 100%.
1 CP is mad.
It's so good.
They've got solid stratagems used to the Cults across the board.
100%.
Yeah, like it.
That's the stratagems.
Enhancements. We'll skim through some enhancements quite quickly.
Yep.
There's one here that I know we definitely want to talk about. So Prowling Adjutant, once per turn, when an enemy unit ends a normal move, advance or fall back within 9 inches of the bearer's unit. If the bearer's unit is not within engagement range of enemy units, you can basically blood surge. You D6 move.
You blood surge, yeah. But you're going to move away, not towards.
Of course you are. And it is, as a player, I was playing Weldy, that is an incredibly frustrating potential. Because if you measure it and you go, okay, if I go to here, I think I'm going to be within like 5 inches. So of course, we all know mathematical average of 2d6 is 7, right? We know that. So if I'm gonna try and be confident about charging any opponent, any unit, I really want to be under that 7 bracket. That's where I want to be comfortable about it. Will I try and attempt an 8-inch, 9-inch charge? Yeah, of course I will. But I'm significantly less confident about it because maths exists, right? That's the thing. Yeah. So I want to be within 5. The fact that the average on the dice roll is somewhere between 3 or 4, I get within 5. You roll that dice and you get, say, the 4. Yeah. That becomes 9.
Even the 3.
I then move back into my uncomfortable space for making a charge move. It's a big deal.
It's a huge deal. Very, very strong. This weekend I used it on the big brick, which kept them alive, which is important. Of course, you can put this on jackals that also do mortal wounds whenever they move within 6 inches of a unit, and you just drop basically 5 mortal wounds on a unit.
Yeah.
Amazing enhancement.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Inscrutable Cunning. This is one of my other favorite ones. This basically gives the bear's unit, it's important, the ability to infiltrate, and when you spend a strat on them on a 4+, you gain a CP. Now this is very, very strong if you combine it with a couple of other things. We put it on, you take a Primus, you take a Nexos, you put them on 20 Neophytes. That unit now is getting full hit rerolls from the Primus. They get a free strat, 0 CP strat from the Nexos. And if you spend 0 CP on that strat, on a 4+, you get another CP. And then the Primus lets you redeploy 3 units. And this one infiltrates. So after you've seen where your opponent's army is, you can say, cool, pick them up, put them down exactly where you want them. Incredibly powerful combination where you can actually generate CP. Now we talked about the 2 CP strat that we have here. That's very, very strong. +1 to wound for 2 squads, 2 CP. Well, you do it on this. What do you know? What's the thing? You want to do it on
a different squad.
Different squad, and pay the 2 CP.
Yep.
Then you do it on this squad and another squad for 0 CP. So now you've done it on 4 squads, and on 4+ you gain a CP. So net, you're looking at very possibly spending 1 CP to get +1 to wound on 4 different squads.
It's mad good.
What?
That's mad good.
So strong.
It's really, yeah. I think, again, any ability that lets you gain CP or regain CP or lets you spend stratagems for free are very strong in 10th edition. Because stratagems, again, are incredibly good. They are, on occasion, game-changing. And CP is a lot rarer. And I really want to praise GW for what they've done with CP and stratagems on the whole. There's a couple of anomalies, like we looked at the Votann ones. I'm not blown away by them because of some of the requirements and conditions you need.
Yeah.
But I think they've done a good job of going, this is now not just something you spend like candy. This is something that's it's super important when you use it. It's going to give you decisions to make, and you're going to sit there. The amount of times I've seen people going, if I spend this 1 CP on this really good ability, it means I can't do this other really good ability. Yeah. And I think that's a good decision to give players to make, rather than I know what I'm doing, I'm just going to do this every single turn.
Exactly.
So that having anything that refunds regens or makes things cost free or cheaper is really good and really important. Meticulous Planner, a cult model only, once per battle, just after your opponent uses a stratagem. If the bearer is on the battlefield, it can use this ability. If it does until the end of your next battle, the CP cost until the end of the battle, the CP cost your opponent must pay to use a stratagem is increased by 1. Considering what I've just said, this is also incredibly strong.
Yes.
Because not only is, if you have things that make yours cheaper or free or lets you use them again, is very, very important, because CP is such a precious resource to you. Yeah. It's also a precious resource to your opponent. So if your opponent's got a good stratagem that he wants to use or they want to use, using this ability and going, I'm vecting you basically, it's going to cost you 1 more, is so good.
It's crazy.
And imagine if they had, imagine if you're playing against a Genestealer Cult player and you've got this ability. We just told you how clutch that particular 2 CP strat is.
Yeah.
Use it the first time, I go, cool, that's now going to cost you 3 CP.
Right.
It's a lot harder to use.
It's very, very scary.
It's a lot harder to use.
Very scary.
So those are 3 great enhancements.
They're amazing.
I'm not sure about this last one because you use all 3 of those against me on Saturday, right?
Yeah, this is another case where the 4th, it's fine, but it's not as good as the other ones. Focus of Adoration, basically you put this on Genestealer Cults model and allows the model squad to heroically intervene for 0 CP, and can do so even if you've already targeted a different unit with that strategy on this phase. Now famously, the World Eaters also have this exact enhancement, but it's just worse. You were so excited to tell me about this one that you had in your army, and I didn't say anything about the fact that I was like, I have a better one, I just didn't take it because I have better things than that. It's a good enhancement, but it's not the other 3.
The thing is, I think Genestealer Cults nowadays don't really want to be in melee. So heroically intervening is not so great for you.
It's okay because I think their melee is best as a response. So you put this on a Saw squad that's next to your neophytes that don't want to get charged. But yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. The most important thing here is the fact that the other 3 are just so much better.
They are bonkers, as you say.
So datasheet wise, Adrian.
What's interesting, so we mentioned the Primus, which gives the redeploy, the full rerolls. I think it's amazing. Neophytes, you're going to run, I think, at least 4x20. You could easily run the maximum, which is 6x20. Acolytes are great because they're small, relatively cheap. They're great for scoring. They fight well. They do have 4 3-damage attacks, and they have 3 flamers, so that's great. Achilles Ridge Runners, definitely mandatory in the list. They have the crossfire keyword. Where basically,
only because you can say that. That's why they're good.
You have to take them. You have to say it's the rule.
Yeah.
The way they work basically is when they shoot a unit, your whole army gets +1 AP against them in shooting. Mandatory. Now, you get your choice of upgrades. You can take an ability that gives you +1 BS, which is cute, given the fact that you can give this unit a mortar, shoot out of line of sight, tag up units. So that's interesting. Or if you want to be greedy, like me, you can instead say when you get hit by this unit, you also get ignore cover, which is awesome for units that aren't necessarily coming in from reserve.
Yeah, of course. So
that's definitely a unit that's worth shouting out. And then, of course, the bikes, the jackals, which are much less durable than they are, but you take the Jackal Alphas. She gives them a move, shoot, move. And of course, the unit inbuilt has the ability to, when you finish a normal move within 6 inches of an enemy unit, you roll dice for every model in the unit, usually 10, every 4% mortal wound. So you move your bikes, who scout, by the way, 6 inches away. You do mortal wounds. You do 5 mortal wounds. You scoot them a little bit. You do 5 mortal wounds. And if someone moves closer to you, you can do some mortal wounds and run away.
Yeah, they're really good. I mean, you've nailed it. Right.
Those are the units.
To a point, it's Codex Battle Line, just because it really makes the Occult Ambush ability sing.
Yeah.
Because it's free, it's guaranteed, it's really good, and the Battle Line unit are just solid, to be fair, considering.
They're great.
So I think it's fun. It's thematic as Genestealer Cult. I like it. I joke about it being cheating. I joked about it a few times over the weekend. Yeah. as a World Eaters player playing, like, spoilers if you haven't seen the game, spoilers, pin your ears for 5 minutes. But I played them with World Eaters. I played against them with World Eaters on Saturday, and I basically killed your whole army. And at the end of the game, you basically had your whole army still on the table.
And we just swapped deployment zones.
Yeah, it's very strong. I think they're really good.
They're really good.
If we put them in our tier system, I'm bottom of A at the very least, I reckon, with Genestealer Cults, because I think they've got a lot of play in the mission as well.
Yeah.
And when people get used to the army and the finesse of the army, I think they're going to be incredibly powerful.
Absolutely.
Cool, right. We're going to pause with the factions, right? Because we've done 5 or 6 so far. I feel like we're going to have to do a couple more streams. We might not even get through all of them, but we're going to try to. I'm gonna beg Adrian off stream later if we can do an extra one tomorrow.
We should.
We might even do this on Thursday instead of a game. It might make everyone's lives easier. And it's the bigger numbers I've seen, so fuck playing 40k. And we may even finish it off on Friday. Who knows? It depends how long it takes us to get through it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to shoot through the rest of the super chats and stuff. I'm going to try and hard cut off around 3 p.m. Pacific time, simply because you've got a meeting. We've got to get set up for this evening's game as well. So I don't want to drag this on too much. I don't want to turn it into a Sunday good talk, because that was crazy, right?
That was a lot.
Crazy.
Which we appreciate.
Yeah. Nordos, thank you for the gifted. I think I may have already covered that one. Matt Claire Music, thank you for the 20. Necrons, what do we think to Valgor's Legion, which is an Overlord, a Psychomancer, a Chronomancer, 30 Warriors, a Royal Warden, 30 Flayed Ones, 12 Scarabs, 6 Wraiths, 2 Cryptothralls, 10 Praetorians, 3 Destroyers, Heavy Destroyer, or just 3 Tesseract Vaults? I love Tesseract Vaults now.
Yeah, they're cool.
Well, they're basically the only unit now that gets the old school Necron Catan powers.
Oh, interesting.
So they get the mortal wound output thingy. That's cool. They're just really good.
Cool. Yeah.
The rest of the list, if you go for the rest of this, is pretty solid.
It's a great list.
I think
like it.
Necrons. Yeah. If I'm honest with you, Matt, I think Necrons are going to really struggle to put together a terrible list. There'll be worse versions where the synergy maybe quite isn't there, and you haven't got the overlap of the aura abilities, etc. But Necrons are solid. That list is solid. It will do well. It'll play the mission okay. It'll be relatively durable. But 3 Tesseract Vaults is cool.
Pretty cool.
I like it. Thank you so much for the 20, man. Anyway, you're a hero. I love you. Evan, thank you for the 20. Hi, Liam and Adrian. I'm still catching up on your tournament. Future Armor, Battle Report. Too much Battle Report. Do you think Squighog Boys and Knob on Smasher still have the same role as before?
I do, actually. I do. And I think you could give them a new rule, which is being more of a hammer unit if you want to run big squads with the Knob, which is cool. Sorry, the Knob on Smasher is a completely different role, because before it was like, don't say it, it was like a single unit that you would kind of character block and be a missile, right? Jump in, do mortal wounds, maybe get a double proc, throw in head choppers, kill Wappa. But now it's meant to lead a bigger squad of hogs. So it's a six brick of hogs with that, which is good. For me, though, the hogs in the previous edition, their main role was always groups of 3. They were very points efficient. They could go score and kill and do stuff. And I think that's the best way to play them. But the changes to the way that the units work mean that I think you could also run them in these big bricks, and they would be actually more compelling than they ever have been before. Yeah. So I think they actually have 2 roles now. So.
Okay, interesting. Thank you, Evan. Anyway, you're a legend. Thank you. CRA. Hey, dude. Adrian, 10 Desolation Marines. Load out, please.
Loadout, Super Crack, because it's awesome for killing big things, and then obviously Castellan launchers and the Vanguard launcher. The thing that you do, of course, is you take the Primaris Apothecary with Bolter Discipline, which means they'll have sustained hits on 6s, 5s if you are in Devastator Doctrine, and you'll pay another extra CP for Storm of Fire you pay 2 CP, 1 for Storm of Fire, to ignore cover and get an extra AP if you're in Devastator Doctrine, and your second CP is spent to put you in Devastator Doctrine. And then you just have this crazy firing platform that's going to res a Desolation Marine every turn. It's very strong. I'm excited to play it.
It's very strong. You will kill many units. What you'll also do is you'll have no friends.
Yeah, do it.
So really think about that life choice. All right. Kit, thank you for the donut, man. Anyway, you're a hero. Love you. Kit, thank you for the 5. Totally agree with Bridger about the judgment tokens. Not exactly looking forward to having to do my best Zap Brannigan impression with Votann.
Right. Yeah.
It's not great.
Onwards.
Bridger's one of my favourite human beings in the world. It's not a secret. I love him. I love him dearly.
But
with 40k, he's often it's the worst ever. Oh look, I just won the whole weekend.
Yeah.
Right. But with Votann, I'm actually with him.
Yeah. They actually kind of are the worst ever.
Yeah. They're the worst they've been forever. I know what he can be like, and doom and gloom. Custodians are terrible. Oh look, I won. But this time round, I actually think he's correct. They're not. Yeah. I don't want to like being too negative too often.
Yeah.
But Votann for me are bottom of the pile if we remove the complete dog shit anomalies that are the other two factions, which we'll get to at some point, Admech and Death Guard.
Yeah, they're just out of the game, basically.
It might as well not
Don't
bother
exist.
reviewing. We've got less content to make because we might as well not even bother reviewing it, right? Alonda Lorenzo, thank you so much for the 5. Just remember that all this judgment crap is because they moved 1 to their business skill. It is, yeah.
Yeah.
It,
Yeah. I keep the BS and give them judgment tokens.
The +1 ballistic skill just isn't always that great either, or the +1 to hit isn't that great. Like, if you think about the previous, they literally built a mechanic. Fucking Games Workshop. They literally built a mechanic which is a universal special rule now, which is exactly what Votann used to do, which is lethal hits on critical hit rolls.
Right, I know.
So why couldn't they have gone? 1 judgment token is lethal hits. 2 judgment tokens is critical hits, is lethal hits and critical hits on a 5+. That'd
be cool.
Literally what they used to have.
Yeah.
I don't know why they changed it. Fuck it, honestly. Jonas, thank you for. I think I've done this. Jonas, thank you for becoming a Hesir. Kenneth, thank you for becoming a Jarl. I think I thank Kirath already. You're a legend. We're getting there, Adrian. We're near the bottom. We're getting there.
That's all good.
Soon we'll be able to stop. Soon we'll be able to go to the bathroom and not everyone will hear me. Rodney, thank you for the 5. Locust Law plus Locust Heavy's Thoughts. If you don't move, hitting on 1s be a thing, right? So you can't hit on 1s. Unmodified hit roll of a 1 is always a fail regardless. It's in the core rules. It covers that.
Is it in the core rules? I think it's in the glossary.
Oh, don't do that to me. It probably is.
But it is a rule.
Yeah, it's a thing. There's somewhere in the multiple pages of rules that could either be the leaflet for the mission pack or the core rule set or the 18-page clarification document. It's somewhere. It is a rule, however. But Locust Destroyers are no joke now. I actually really rate Locust Destroyers. I'm sad. Do you know why I'm sad? I'm always sad when a unit comes good that has a terrible model. I'm always sad about that, right? Yeah. That always makes me like.
Brian's with you on this one. He hates them. I think they're okay.
Like, when you consider the Locust Heavy Destroyer that they brought out, my little heart, who when I was a kid loved Locust Destroyers as they were back then, was like, oh, we're gonna get all these cool new Destroyer models. We might get a cool new Locust Lord model. That's gonna be super cool. And they were like, nah, that's all you get. And I was like, oh, for fuck. So that's a whole me issue that we'll put to one side for now. But as unit. Solid. Solid choice. Really like him. They're good units. Quentin Patterson, thank you for joining the channel as a Hesir tier. All you beautiful people, I hope you're getting yourselves in Discord. The Flesh is Weak, thank you for the ! Discord, by the way. If you haven't, click the link, get inside. There's a guide in the new member welcome section, which will show you how to link your YouTube account to your Discord account so you can unlock the whole Discord. If you just go in there and you haven't linked it previously, you'll go, this is shit, there's like 3 channels. That's because everything's locked behind the paywall so we can remove trolls and bots and stuff. If you then do what we tell you and link it correctly, it will open up the whole of Discord. There's a load of it. And you only won't get access to the council area where you need to be a Jarl tier or above to get access to that, which is just a separate chat and the giveaway that we do every single month as well, right? The Flesh is Weak, thank you for the 5. What is 1 core rule change and 1 faction rule change? We've done that one already, haven't we? The core rule change we covered would be that you can't stand on an objective marker currently. I'd reverse it back to you can. I kind of get why they've done it. They've done it so that you just can't basically block an objective by putting a giant model on top of it. I kind of like the narrative of the, hey, cool, you've got to kill it off though to get to it. But that's one thing I would change. In terms of faction rule, we both agreed, Eldar, we need to change fate dice. 1 fate dice per unit per activation in either the shooting or fight phase, so that you can't just proc 6/6s on a unit of D cannons and do many, many millions of mortal wounds. There we go. But thank you for the 5, man. You're a hero. Stephen, thank you for the 5. Have you considered that Reavers with grapnels ignore the vertical distance when moving, making them better than flyers at moving? Hashtag are Reavers good?
My God.
That's actually important now.
It is and it isn't, though. Because they have the other keyword that's also very, very powerful for moving, which is infantry.
Yeah. So
the only reason you need to go up and over is if you don't have infantry and you can just go straight
But that means they can go straight to the top of the building and get that clutch thingy fire.
Suppressing fire.
Yeah.
They can suppressingly fire Angron, who can't reach them.
Yeah. Plunging fire, that's the one. Plunging fire.
Plunging fire. Suppressing fire is a whole other mechanic.
So if they fly to the top of your ruins, they are immune to Angron.
Yeah, that's true. Keyword, immune to Angron. That's
Reavers
pretty good. Look, I think Reavers are interesting.
Okay.
That's it.
Reavers is the flip for me for Locust Destroyers. Super cool models, terrible rules.
You gotta take Battle Shock and melee.
I feel like Reavers is one of those units now that when they drop new rules, Reavers is one of those units that everyone goes straight to that section to look at what Reavers are.
That was like it might have been the first unit I looked at in 10th edition at all.
Thanks, Steve, for the 5, though. I don't think they're good. I think they're not terrible now, but they're not great. Because when you now incorporate them into a Space Marine army that has Oath of Moment and you've got combat doctrines, they're not bad. But what's happening there is their detachment and army rules are making them playable rather than their datasheet making them playable, which is it's better than being Death Guard.
Yeah.
Liam, thank you for the 2. Just wondering, can we get subtitles enabled, please? I'm sorry. I tried to translate. I know he speaks a foreign language.
Wow.
It's, which leads into Doug's 10. Thanks for the 10. Hey, Liam and Adrian. Liam, is there any American slang expressions, noises you pick up or use, just like Adrian and crew? Also want to run Raptors with Harkin. Any loadout suggestions? Okay, yes. 100%, and I don't notice I'm doing it until I notice I'm doing it, and then I get really conscious about it. So these people over here, they overuse the word right. They use it like to punctuate sentences.
What?
You do. And you'll say something, you'll be like, so yeah, if you use this unit, they're really strong, right? That's how you do it. It's like a period at the end of a sentence.
Yeah, Mel does that a lot.
And I start doing it. Alex is horrendous for it, right? And then, see, I've just done it. Right? And again! No! We're in a spiral!
That's amazing. I've never thought of that as an American thing. Fascinating.
It doesn't happen at home.
Right?
But so that's the worst. Okay?
Interesting.
Yeah, and then the other thing I think is I think it's about it. I'm terrible for listening. So Bridger walks round with British Tourette's, right?
Yeah.
And the worst Tourette's he does is he says my name all the time.
Yeah.
He honestly, this is a true story, chat as well. He walks around the studio just going, Liam. And then what happens is I sit here doing that, and I'm like, why am I saying my own name?
Like a dumb
like
Pokemon.
Some simpleton. Like, what's going on? Yeah, it's mad. So there's that as well. And the other thing that I really struggle, the one thing I really struggle with, and I really struggle with this in general, is your version of what is and what isn't a cuss word is completely different to ours.
Yes.
So there are other words that I specifically try, so I basically try and talk American so they understand. If you're in the UK, they don't say boots, they say trunk. They don't say rubbish, they say trash. Yep. There's a number of things there where I'm like, I then try and use your word.
Yeah.
So you don't go, 1, because I don't want you to go, what? What are you talking about? 2, I can't then be bothered with the 30 minutes of terrible British accent that's going to come after me saying, just put it in the bin. And they're like,
bin
what?
it.
Yeah, right, that starts. So that's the other thing. Like, but then when you're like, we were talking about this on Saturday. There's a thing with the Titan stream, a little bit behind the scenes. Just before they go live, they enter what's called the no swear zone.
Yes.
Okay, and that's because all the mics are live and they're a family-friendly channel. And we're not, so I don't have this problem. My tech's slightly better. The mics aren't on until the point in which we go live.
You just can't be trusted with it.
So that as soon as the logo shows on the screen, that's when my software will switch the mics on for me. Yes, that has caused us to have slight productions issues in the past where it hasn't done it, but it's also safer if we're saying something horrifically offensive. Who knows, maybe we are. But anyway, they have this no swear zone, and I'm like, so before we go into said zone, I'm sat there with you and Mel, I'm like, so what's a swear word? Like, because it's different in this country.
Yeah, exactly.
So obviously there's the standard expletives, which you guys probably hear coming out of my mouth repeatedly on this channel.
Sure.
However, in the US, Jesus Christ is considered a swear word.
It is a swear word. You can do a swear.
God damn is considered a swear word.
Yeah, damn is a swear word.
It's not a swear word.
It is a swear word.
No,
You let your kids say that word?
No, it's not. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Ah.
My kid's 10. He's allowed to say fuck on the allotment if he hurts himself.
Okay, well, clearly there's something wrong with you and your family then.
No. Well,
that can't be normal for British kids too.
It's fine. It's fine.
No.
It's normal.
Oh my God. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, was that right? So
there you go, Titans, I did a swear.
But I can't, it's not, that's not a swear word.
It doesn't count.
No, it doesn't count. That's not a swear, right? So yeah,
Clicking buttons.
That's the big difference is language-wise, I think. So there's obviously the obvious changes, like I said, trash, garbage, etc., which we don't normally say. We'll just say rubbish.
Rubbish.
But I'm okay with dumbing myself down to what their language is as well and using their language.
You theoretically invented this language. You can't even say it right.
Hang on. We must be the ones saying it right because we invented the language.
Right? No, it is incorrect. What? What? Like a W-O-T? What? You what?
And if you're still watching, Mel, I'm incredibly sorry for this, that you're going to have to put up with for at least the next month. The worst thing is now, we meet 3 times a week.
Yeah.
So I think Mel just gets it all the time now.
Yeah, it just like resets it. There's like a cooldown. It's like, It's rough, man. It's rough.
Okay, right. We're on the last one.
Oh,
Glad to know. Right, Lolo, thank you for the 5. What do you think? Does the Tau Cadre Fireblade volley fire rule work on attached drones since they are an equipment now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it probably does.
Yeah, they're just an equipment. Those
just war gear.
Those models fire it. It feels weird, but it is correct.
Yeah.
It's like the whole,
So firing deck, okay? So in firing deck, when you choose the weapon systems inside the transport to be fired, the model inside the transport is no longer firing that model. The Rhino, for example, is at that point, unless it's a Chaos one, is at that point firing the model, firing the weapon system. Drones are similar, okay? So they're a war gear option. So the models in the unit are firing the war gear, which means the Cadre Fireblade's ability does work on them.
Yep.
That's how I interpreted it anyway.
Same.
But, I mean, this is Games Workshop. When the 18-page clarification document goes to 36 pages, who knows? It might change.
Yeah, you never know.
Right. I said cut off 3. We've done okay here. So, chat.
Yeah.
Let's go back out of fan funding. See if people are still talking or if it's asleep right now.
They're all gone.
Oh my God, it's still going.
What's up, chat?
Okay.
Hey.
You guys are amazing. We love you dearly.
Amazing.
So we're going to kill it now because of a couple of things. Adrian's got a meeting in an hour. I need to start building an Astra Militarum list with what they've got on the shelves to get ready for this evening because I'm taking on Bridger on the Titans members only game, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time or 2 a.m. if you're in the UK. Obviously, it will be on demand, rewatchable if you are a member of the Titans channel. I would encourage all of you who are my people who maybe don't normally watch Titans to go over there, pick up their lowest level of membership because Titans are amazing. They stick out quality content. Like I said, the whole reason why we started what we started doing with battle reports was because of these guys. We take inspiration from these guys. I've spent the last few months talking to them regularly and learning from these guys. So go check out the Titans channel, check out their content, and you will get to see me take on Bridger Chaos Knights versus Astra Militarum. It'll be a ton of fun. We're really going to enjoy it. Although we said we'll cover all factions, I'm going to change the title of this video after this one to be part 1. And in the video description, I'll talk about the factions that we covered. And if Adrian's cool with it, we'll do at least another, probably we're going to need another 2 at this rate. Over the course of this week. We've got a week, right? And we could do this instead of the game on Thursday, potentially.
We'll make it happen.
I'm okay with it.
All good.
But we will cover the other factions as best as we can. As best as we can this week and try and get through it. This is an interesting discussion.
It's cool. It's fun that we're coming back to this. We've had some good talks as they've released them. And now it's like, okay, we've seen basically everything. Let's talk about it. And we've played a lot more games. So I find it interesting. Hopefully you do at home. Seems like we've had a great turnout. So I really appreciate it.
Oh shit, they can see us now. Yeah, so come hang out with us those streams. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. Thank you to everybody who's hit that subscribe button, who's clearly come across from Adrian posting in the Titans channel. You guys are amazing. I love you dearly. Thank you to everybody who chose to become a member tonight. Thank you to everybody who gifted memberships, and thank you so much to all you donators. You people are incredible. Like I said at the start, 10% of our revenue is donated to charity every single month. !M4H in chat if you want to know about the charity that we donate to. Models for Heroes is a UK-based charity that look after service personnel, forces, ex-forces, emergency services, etc. And essentially what they do is they use model building as a method of therapy. It gets people talking, it gets people relaxed, it gets them out of the house. It solves things like agoraphobia. They're amazing. They're great people. If you do check out the website, you can also donate directly if you don't want to do it via Super Chat, which I encourage. But what you can also do is you can send them some of your piles of shame. If you've got plastic kits that you think you're never going to get to, it's just sat there for ages. You can click a link. It will show you how you can send them your kits. They then take those kits and they use those as the therapy, okay? Which is an amazing use of people's spare kits that they might never get to if you decide that you can't be bothered to eBay them or you just don't want them sat on the shelf anymore. Those guys are amazing. Right, cool. I think that's it for now.
I think we did it.
I need to go to the bathroom and I've been putting it off because I don't want them to hear the thud again. Everyone gets jealous.
It's very scary.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
But, you know how we finish streams?
Oh, shoot. A fact from Luce.
A fact from Luce.
Come on, Luce.
A Luce fact.
What's up?
Oh, she won't be in chat anymore. She'll be gone.
Oh, no.
She'll be long gone now, I reckon.
Oh, no.
She was in earlier. She's gone now. I think she's gone. I think it's on you. You have to come up with a Luce fact.
Oh, God. A Luce fact. All right.
Which has to... And Luce is like... It's a double name, right? So Luce is her name, but then it's L-O-O-S-E. A Luce fact. Like, is it true or not?
Right. Yeah,
right?
Exactly. That was you. Oh, gosh. Fun fact of the day is...
I knew this would put you right on the spot as well.
True or false, 85% of Bridger's meals are not cooked by himself.
Ooh, what do you think, chat? I know, my answer's instant.
Yeah.
My answer's that's false.
It is false. Yeah. You know why?
100%.
Because it's higher. Yeah.
Right, you guys have been incredible. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye!